Boo. Hello, Charkie. Gotcha.
What a wonderfully melodic intro, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. I do try. That was the intro, the article trailer I did for Resident Evil Survivor a year ago, possibly. I can't remember when I wrote that article, but there's an article up on the site for Resident Evil Survivor, which is the comprehensive history of this game we're about to play right now. We're playing Resident Evil Survivor on the stream, hence the intro, which people on YouTube won't even be able to get to see, because it's copyrighted music, and I'm just flagrantly using Noisem. Anyway.
There you go. The song went like... something like that.
It should be unintelligible. You would think that copyright would not be able to detect Death Grunt, but yeah, the algorithm's very sophisticated. It's October! You know what that means? It's time for spooky games.
Time for Subtober.
I wish. 2. So,
folks, subs are full price now, so buy them up. Alright, no, go on.
So, you know, I'm a fan of October, of the October festivities. I may have a birthday at some time during this month. So, I think it's an appropriate time to bring out horror games of all variety. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the downright confusing. And Resident Evil Survivor is one that is caught between like 2 or 3 of those, maybe even all 4. I kinda like this game. And I know some people who also like this game. And so we're gonna be nice to it. I'm gonna try to give it as thorough an exploration as is possible. And you know, the other thing is that this game has multiple alternate routes in it. And I think I have a solution for seeing as much of that content as is possible. We'll explore it in just a little bit. We'll do some tactical quick saving at some key checkpoints and hopefully show off all there is to show off in this game, or most of it at the very least. That's enough preamble, I say. Let's get on with it. Any second. There we go. See? I also am messing around with some new audio settings on the stream, so people at home, please to tell me if things are leveled in the way that you'd hope they be leveled. And it's a learning experience. It's always a learning experience with this stuff. What's your familiarity with Resident Evil, and with Survivor in particular, Charkie?
With Resident Evil, actually, I guess it was 2 years ago, I decided to sit down and play through kind of as many of them as I could is not the right word, felt like is. But yeah, I played Resident Evil 4 back in the day, I played Resident Evil 5 back in the day, recently played through like some of the remake stuff and the weird episodic things they did. So I like Resident Evil in general, but I never played Survivor. This was not when I was playing Resident Evil.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to skip this one. Whether, you know, for the reason that they're just not a fan of first-person shooters, or because they think this is a bad one. I should also mention, get this out of the way nice and early, that we're playing the North American version of this game, which has no GunCon support. If you played this in Japan or in Europe, you could plug your GunCon into your PlayStation, and you could play this as a sort of light gun game. There's still movement that you have to do, and that stuff is not ideal on the GunCon. But, you know, then again, neither is having to bring up the crosshair and drag it across the screen with your analog stick with a controller. So it's compromised either way. We're just playing this with a controller.
I always thought this was... I wanted to hear him say that. I always thought this was GunCon across all regions, but yeah, I didn't know that the North American version just took that out.
So there was this little thing that happened called Columbine.
Oh, okay.
It's never been officially cited, but that's the reason. That's the reason why they pulled GunCon support. That's why they decided, we probably shouldn't put, you know, guns in people's hands as they play this game, just to err on the side of caution in the year 2000.
Was this game canon?
I I think there is a single document in Resident Evil 7 that acknowledges this island that this game takes place on, which I think makes it canon.
Good enough for me.
I also get into this in the article, but the developers of this game, a little studio by the name of Tosei, most famous Ghost developer, least ghostly Ghost developer in the industry.
You're not going to get away.
How is the voice acting in the game for people listening in the stream? Should I boost it? I think it's a little low. I'm going to boost it.
You should, because I am already digging it.
Alright, that's a -8 decibel ceiling on it now.
Big roll, dude.
Sometime later, I suppose.
Silent Hill 2 prototype looks weird.
Yeah! When they originally planned it for PlayStation 1, they had a ways to go. This is our main character. They're yet to be named. We won't spoil it. My only hope is this gun.
That's what I'm always saying.
That's the American credo, basically.
Where am I? Oh! I don't remember anything. Who am I?
And with that mystery, we are off. Yeah,
that's
so
a lot of bullets.
Don't worry, they're also infinite in the handguns, so... R1 brings up this reticle. Left and right, turn left and right, hold down square to move. There's a key for interacting with stuff as well, picking things up. So this is a good little spot to just get acclimated to controls.
Do you have any sort of look up, look down?
No.
Or is it just always on this? It's always on this head.
L1 will point us towards an objective. So there's that. But no, as far as aiming up or down, you're kind of reliant on... So there's enemies that appear like on walkways above you, right? Mm-hmm. The camera has to automatically like recognize that they're there and aim up for you as they start to shoot at you, which is not ideal. It's a bad system. They should have just let you aim further up and down. But alas... Doesn't he look familiar?
You look familiar, but...
Oh, right.
But I just can't remember. Ark Thompson, huh? Though I can't remember anything, I know that this was no way for anyone to die.
I mean, how did he die here? We can presume he fell from the helicopter. I mean, that's a pretty standard death.
Yeah.
There, first zombie felled.
Do you think he realized that was a zombie offhand, or just oh, someone's walking towards me and they look kind of grody? Better kill him.
You know, it's that kind of thinking that keeps you alive. You know, it's just a pure reflex. Alright. Tactical quick save. Branching paths. We have a few different routes here. We have a rusted key that we picked up off that zombie. And you notice there's a door here, door there, and a door all the way over here. We can use the key once. All three of these doors will lock behind us. Where do they go?
Determines your ending.
Partially. There's one branching path that really determines your ending. It is not this one. This one is just a means to an end. Ultimately, all paths will lead to approximately the same ending, the same path, but with a key difference between them, let's say. So, I quick saved. Let's just go to the first one here. I should also mention we do have the chat, the point redemption thing active again.
Oh.
So if anyone wants to force me to take a drink at any point, or whatever other things we have active in the points redemption.
That's the only unique thing right now, and it is now 5,000 points to drink up.
Yeah, I figured I might as well. Well,
and there it is.
I have a twisted tea.
I have a
that's
Red
not good.
Edition Watermelon Red Bull.
That's not great. It doesn't taste great. Well, that's what I'm drinking tonight.
Remember when I said last time that I hadn't had a drink in like 4 years?
Yes, I do.
Twisted tea was the last thing I drank.
Well, there we go. So this is the Church of Umbrella. Umbrella owns the church on this island, which is just, furthering their devious plans. I mean, why wouldn't they get into organized religion? It's kind of the logical conclusion of Umbrella's operations.
It's just a corporate sponsorship for the church to keep the lights on, Somewhere out there's got to be a church with like business logos on the insides. Like, that's the only way we can afford it.
Jesus Christ, sponsored by McDonald's.
Hey kid, can you take this wafer to someone at the movie theater?
I don't want to be told to grow up. Got the Chappelle key. See if there's anything else to discover around here.
To be attached to it.
Yeah, I pressed X to examine it, but if you just walk up to it, it'll automatically examine it. So I skipped the first text box by thinking like, oh, I'm going to press the X button here. You know what I mean? So that's a little bit of an issue. Not a major one, but, So a little bit more about Tosei. Tosei are kind of like one of the most important developers. Like, they are the first people to get, third-party games going for the NES. They are responsible for getting a lot of companies that are, became, big-name developers and publishers started by developing their early games for them. People think of Ikegami to Tsuhinki. I will always mess up the pronunciation on that, and how they developed the original Donkey Kong for Nintendo. Right? In the arcades, as well as, a bevy of their other arcade games. That was basically Tosei's role for a lot of companies, is that, people saw the burgeoning arcade market and didn't have the know-how to actually make games themselves. They were training their staff how to do it, but they wanted to get in while the iron was hot, right? So contract Tosei, they'll go uncredited. You'll put your name on everything, and you have a prepackaged game ready to go. And as the years went on, their role sort of expanded to become more like a support studio. So as publishers and developers had actual dedicated staff that they would contract stuff to, Tosei became more of just a helping hand, the support studio in getting those games up to snuff, up to scratch, in on time, and so forth. Should we read these diaries and the like? They can be amusing in a Resident Evil game. I don't remember how many of them are amusing in here, but we'll give a few a read at least. So it mentions Resident Evil 2 lore, G-Virus, so on and so forth, so they're tying it into the continuity in that way.
A Resident Evil game ties in the continuity of Resident Evil.
And that happens less often than you think. Especially recently. We must not allow a biohazard to happen in the city. We cannot let Umbrella's efforts to buy the city and establish these billion-dollar facilities go to waste. We should keep a closer eye on the behavior of personnel in the future. So even the church manager is in on it, is basically the long short of that. That this island is wholly owned by Umbrella.
Play the pinball game, come on.
Oh, there was a text that popped up. A pinball machine? Why would it be in a church?
Yeah, that's the weird one.
Damn, don't
Not
have
the
time
corporate logos.
Play with myself.
Hey, what's the arcade game?
Oh, hello!
Oh, God. Alright, sorry. Yeah, alright, I'll put the coin in the coin line, don't worry.
Yeah, I was gonna wait my turn, but... on this demon something or other, this arcade machine.
The Oxitors.
It is weird that there are arcade machines in a church. I mean, if you...
That is, yes.
Especially, like, it's adults running it, right? Not to say that, like, only kids play games, but you know what I mean, right? Like, I don't expect members of the clergy to be, like, hardcore gaming in the background.
Well, you gotta bring in the kids somehow. You gotta make Jesus hip. You gotta play the latest pinball games to relate to them.
This is officially a Resident Evil game. We had a clock puzzle. That makes it a Resident Evil in my... I mean, okay, as close as a puzzle to this game will get.
Okay.
This is
You're not going to be making any vaccines in this game.
No, that is a bridge too far for this game and the limitations thereof. So Tosei, I should mention another thing, is that Tosei, by this point, had already done support on like Resident Evil 2 and 3. So when it came time to do the first third-party Resident Evil game, Tosei were the trusted hands because Capcom had already like worked with them on Resident Evil. So this game has a bunch of assets from 2 and 3. Like all the zombie models, all the enemy models really, besides like a couple of unique ones. And like even like a lot of like the stuff in the environments. I mean, granted, like environments in Resident Evil 2 and 3 obviously pre-rendered, so it's not going to be like, you know, exact scenes. But, you know, there's definitely inspiration taken when it's not outright models being lifted or textures being recycled, which is thrifty. I don't think this is a bad thing. It keeps a consistency in terms of whatever sort of visual style that Resident Evil is hoping to establish at this point. Well, you know,
it makes sense. It makes sense to do that for a lot of reasons, like practically and like just in terms of setting and stuff.
That also makes this the first Resident Evil to not take place in Raccoon City. This takes place on Sheena Island. I was trying to remember the name of it. But more details on this environment to be revealed in time.
So is Tosei still around doing stuff?
Yes. They are. I think they actually, at this point, do credit some of their people on some games. It's not completely consistent. I think it depends on, like, how much they're paid, what the franchise they're dealing with is. Like, a lot of those anime fighters, or not, like, anime fighters, like, in, like, you know, not the ones, like, from Ark Sys, but, like
arena fighters?
Yeah, a lot of those games are courtesy Tosei. We got dogs, we got Cerberus.
That feels weird still in this day. I know they're a Ghost developer, but it still feels weird in this day and age to like just have uncredited work on games as developers.
Oh no, absolutely. It doesn't help them with the resumes either, because they can't really claim credit for the games they worked on. Which is why the practice is, you know, mostly largely abolished, but or not even abolished. I mean, it's just not spoken of. So you notice we got to this point here. There's some doors over here.
Oh, time to go in them. Oh.
Locked from the other side. Locked from the other side.
I wish these textures were higher res, so I could see what that movie poster was.
Let's get close.
Like
maybe it'll... Maybe on the PC version. Maybe on the Chinese PC version, they actually have a higher res version of that. I don't remember. It's been a while. I would have loved to have played that for this, but it's incredibly broken. So... Rewind. We're back here again. Let's try a different door. Do you want to go to the cinema? Or do you want to go to, what is this one?
Well, there's also the same poster, except in reverse.
Wait, no, so this must be the cinema then, and this is a restaurant. Cinema or restaurant?
Cinema.
Alright.
Now, unfortunately, by not having seen that the church has a pinball machine in it, you'll be locked into the bad ending.
Yes,
that's the vital clue.
The arcade machine? That explains everything. The cure to the Z virus.
Oh, jeez, music popped off.
Sicker music on this route.
Is this the first time we've heard music thus far?
Potentially,
gameplay?
unless it was very quiet and just like more ambient than anything. Herbs are still a factor. All right, I want to show something
there any-
nice and early.
Of dying?
Not quite.
Oh.
All right,
Oh,
we
do they
took a
not
hit
attack
there.
you unless you're looking at them?
Yes.
Or if they grab you, I guess?
So here's the thing. I discovered this on my own, but apparently this is a well-known speedrunning trick. I did not know it was a speedrunning trick, because I don't always watch speedruns. But if you give an enemy your back, all they can do is turn you around before they attack you. And that gives you a second to, like, backstep. It'd be nice if this game had strafing, so you could, like, get out of there extra fast. But yeah, if you can't see an enemy, they can't hurt you.
Doesn't Devil May Cry do something like that? If like a enemy is off camera, they will not attack you?
Possibly. I'm not huge into the Devil May Cry. Oh, I know I don't need to be here yet. I need to actually go a different way, then come back here.
So have you played the PAL or Japanese version of this game?
Yes.
Which is to say, have you played this with a gun con or equivalent?
I've played it with a mouse.
Okay. Would you say that controls better or worse than which would you prefer if you could get this version of the game with the gun con support? Would you play it as you're playing it now, or would you play it with the gun con / mouse?
It makes more sense with the controller for the movement, for the interaction, because the gun con has like buttons on the side that you'd have to interface with, and that's
Right.
clumsy in its own way. Like, as much as I love light guns, as much as I love shooting at a screen, I would take the controller in this case. A rare case where I would take the controller. I also think this game should have just been a rail shooter. It should have just been on a track. And you pick, like, the path you want to go to at certain junctions. Like a traditional, like, arcade game would be. And I
did remedy that they did remedy that like about a decade or so later.
Yeah, with Umbrella Chronicles, which I adore. And thank you, Kavia, for working on those games, by the way. Slide, Raccoon City, after the destruction report. Yeah, this is just going to be summation of events of Resident Evil 1 and 2, mentioning Albert Wesker, Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield. So they're just filling you in straight up. And that's Nikolai, who's a character from Resident Evil 3.
Oh, yeah.
This is the Resident Evil 2 and 3 summary right here.
You ever play those remakes for 2 and 3? I know you played 4.
Yes.
Remake.
I'm more than happy to give my thoughts on those in a minute. I just want to make sure there's nothing... Oh, there's a picture of the Nemesis in the background here. The new BOW we call the Nemesis was more ferocious and intelligent than we had expected. Many UBCS members sent to the area have been sacrificed in the process of collecting combat data. Just showing how cold-hearted everyone involved in Umbrella is, just like not seeing people as people, etc. Alright, so Resident Evil 2 and 3 Remake. I liked Resident Evil 2 Make when it came out. I thought it was a neat take on Resident Evil 2, which is a game that I obviously adore in its original incarnation. I have since soured on it, only because of like what it's wrought. The deliberate clumsiness, I think, is a net negative. I get why it's there. I get why you'd want to, in a survival horror game, have characters that are tripping over themselves and the like. I don't think Resident Evil 4 Make should fucking have it. I don't think Resident Evil 3 Make should have had it. I think Jill Valentine is a competent operator that shouldn't be, like, tripping over themselves. Like, granted, they give you, like, the dodge mechanics in that one to try and, like, shore it up, but also that Resident Evil 3 Make being as short as it is, and the DLC for RE2 Make not being, like, super compelling. There's issues I have with those games, to be sure. And, you know, I think people should play the original games. I don't think those games should overwrite or invalidate the original games in the way that I think they have in the eyes of some people.
I think those are just normal birds.
Yeah, I think we just
your
hate
guy
birds.
was yeah, your guy was just like, I got all these bullets. I got infinite bullets. I got to use them somewhere. Now, I played Resident Evil 3 Remake, and I enjoyed playing it, and then 5 hours were up, and it was over.
Oh, drink up time.
Oh, sure. Like, someone told me, like, oh, that's a game you're supposed to play over and over again. And I see that, but I messed I missed like shooting one guy off a hat and ended the game with just not enough points to unlock anything like fun. I was like, I don't think I want to play it again, just to play through the entire game again to then unlock a fun weapon thing.
I definitely replayed those games in the way that is prescribed. I think I have every single achievement in RE2 Make. I got close in RE3 Make before I got sick of it, of replaying that particular tract. And then I did not bother with RE4 Make, playing it beyond the first time. I think I got like a little bit into a second playthrough, and I did just buy the DLC, the Separate Ways DLC, but I'm not thrilled about it. I didn't love RE4 Make. I felt like the stuff that was missing was some of the most fun stuff to me in the original RE4. And I felt like it wasn't as responsive in combat to, like, shooting people in the legs. I don't think you can kneecap people in that game, and I have seen, like, people, like, debating whether that is a feature that exists in that game, and the fact that, like, people can't reach a consensus on what should be, like, a core gameplay mechanic, whether it exists or not, speaks to it either, like, definitely not being present enough, definitely not being consistent in any sort of way, but also, like, sort of, like, them stripping features out of the original game. Like, it's great that you can move and shoot, but moving and shooting is not really the way I wanted to play that game. Like, that original game was balanced around it, around standing still while shooting, and I think that was fine.
Yeah, I played the demo for RE4 Remake, and, like, I didn't care for it. I recognized that it was good, but while I was playing it, I was like, I just kind of want to play the original RE4. And then, like, I did, like, 4 times in a row after that. I was like, oh, this game still holds up. I'll try to be silent during during, like, dialogue.
The phone hang up. Yeah.
The phone hang up.
So, you see, we've gotten back to where we just were. And ultimately, what differences were there? A couple different enemies. This is not a significant branching path. These all just lead you to this juncture without any major change. It is the next difference in route, the next choice of 3, that does significantly alter parts of the game. This is a tough screen. I have to fight 2 lickers, so let's see if I can do this without getting hit a bunch of times.
It feels like it's pretty early to go after 2 lickers at once. So, have you fought 1 licker yet?
No, this is the introduction to the lickers.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And all we have is a handgun to boot, so... the weakest handgun in the game at that. But I think I figured out an effective strategy.
Ah, there we go.
There we go, another rusty key. But yeah, I've been playing these Resident Evil games for, how long ago was 1997? 1998? Since then.
It was about 15 years ago, I think, right?
Yeah, give or
10
take,
to 15
right?
years, yeah. I think the first Resident Evil game I played was Resident Evil 4, but I did have Resident Evil 3. Oh.
But who was phone?
Vincent.
Who is this? Vincent? Who's that? Wait. Am I Vincent?
Vincent, you are a murderer. A murderer.
A murderer? What are you talking about? Answer me! Who did I kill?
Really hard not to laugh.
Yeah, no, laugh, I say. If it's funny, laugh. Don't worry about it.
That's how we start, like, all of our calls, by the way, before we do the stream. I pick up and I go, Cass. And Cass is like, Cass?
Cass? Am I
Who's
Cass?
Like,
Murderer?
and
Who did
then
I
have
kill?
to say, I have to say, Cass, you're a murderer.
Oh, that's right! Yeah, it's all coming back to me now.
And we have to do a stream tonight, so get ready.
So this path here, as innocuous as this seems, this determines everything that happens in the rest of the game.
Ah.
We have the arcade, which you can't see the sign for, a library, or a hospital. Let's start with the library. We're going to go a library route on this.
Okay. Here we go. So I was going to say, so the first one I think I played was Resident Evil 4, but I did have Resident Evil 3, because when I was a teenager, I was not allowed to play M-rated games. So,
you?
What are you talking about, Vincent?
What did you call me?
Please, don't kill me.
Did you call me motherfucker?
Helicopter. Vincent, this is all your fault. You made them send those cleaners to destroy this place.
Cleaners? What do you mean? Wait!
Alright, so you see that guy?
Yeah.
We would not see him again in other playthroughs. We are now going to get intimately familiar with this guy. With that random dude who called us Vincent. It was also the dude on the phone in case the voice acting was,
Oh, I actually didn't recognize that was the same guy. Okay, where to leave off? Oh, right. So, I couldn't play M games as a teen. Like, my parents were strict about that. But a friend of mine in high school was like, you gotta play Resident Evil 3. It's so good. I'll give you my copy. I'm like, I can't. My folks would flip if they saw I had it. And he's like, don't worry about it. So he gave me a copy of it. And what he had done was he had taken a whiteout marker. And he had rubbed over the M rating on the front and the back. And then on the picture of Nemesis and all the pictures of the zombies on the screenshots on the back, he drew over those two and just drew like normal people on top of it.
That's so low rent. I love it.
I still never ended up playing that version though. That his homebrew E for Everyone version.
After all, this is the type of place where a cold-blooded murderer should die.
Alright, if you say so, buddy. Well, let's keep our wits about us. So that guy's gonna be a thorn in our side. And we are a murderer, apparently. Oh, and it's a hunter.
And they're just not holding back on you, are they?
No, you don't know the half of it. If this is surprising you, just wait. Until you see, like, what the most common enemy later in the game is.
I'm gonna make a joke, and I'm gonna be right, that the most common enemy is Mr. X.
Yeah! And tyrants in general. Alright, we picked up a new handgun. Each of these 3 routes will reward you with a different handgun. This one is a Luger of some sort. I think this has higher firepower, slower fire speed, and less capacity. I gotta get out of this menu. I hate navigating these menus.
Okay, I was about to ask to see the menu, because do you have infinite space?
Yes. Not a grid inventory.
Is there any mixing of herbs, or...?
Yes, you can do that much. And ultimately, like, the point of this game, in case it's not obvious, is to replay it. That this is gonna run us, like, a playthrough will run us about, like, an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe 3 if you're thorough. But the point is that every time you complete the game, and you start a new game plus, you carry over all your inventory, all your ammo, all the stuff you picked up. So we picked up, you may have noticed, and I'm going to risk it by going into the inventory again, that the name of this handgun, we skip from A right to D, which means that there's a B and a C to pick up. So you can get those on future playthroughs. You're not going to get all 4 of the pistols on your first playthrough. You're not going to get all the secondary weapons on your first playthrough, probably. Frank Fiasco asked, do you two think that this is a spiritual predecessor to the first-person games like Resident Evil 7 and 8? No. Those games are a different breed. Those are way more informed by the likes of, like, Outlast and, this is like that wave of, like... Oh, I gotta get it to a better position. Give me a second. Okay. Back against the wall. Still not great. But 2 shots should be all I need, I think, with this. Yeah, okay, so this game I don't think figured into much of anything in terms of Capcom's planning. I think they released this, it did okay. And then, I mean, they did a few more of these. There was a few more Gun Survivor games, and we might get to one of them after this. After we finish with this first Gun Survivor, I might play a little bit of Gun Survivor 2, which is Code Veronica if it was a first-person shooter. Not everyone knows about that.
I think PT was probably the more direct inspiration for RE7 and 8.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. But I mean, what is PT if not a response to, in itself, that wave of first-person horror games?
Yeah. I mean, everything comes... In terms of modern horror, like, everything comes back to Amnesia.
Yes. Also want to quickly address what Video Game King is saying in the chat. The Taiwanese version, the Chinese release of this, the Windows version of Resident Evil Survivor, yes, it is a thing. You can move while shooting in that game, which completely breaks everything about it. We covered that version of the game in the article on the site. Again, it is impossible to get running, basically. But, yeah, it was a version of the game released specifically in that territory, specifically on Windows, because they didn't have console exports at that time. Like, PlayStations weren't prevalent in China and Taiwan at that time, right? You wouldn't have been able to get access to them unless, like, save for, like, a black market. So if they wanted to get the Resident Evil franchise out there in that region, it was going to have to be on PCs, which at least some amount of people owned. This is a top secret file for Umbrella employees, by the way, so we shouldn't really be looking at this.
Left right on the desk. Just floating there.
BOW File 1, Zombie. Humans who are contaminated by the T-virus. They have lost their consciousness and wander around on their instinct and appetite to satisfy their hunger for human flesh. Tactical procedure. As your movements are slow, they can be easily eliminated if you keep enough distance to snipe. Yeah, these are just going to be very basic rundowns of all the different types of zombies and
Pretty much strategy guide.
Yeah. Built it right into the game. Very nice of them. I think Ivies show up in this game once. Hunters, we've seen a few of. Tyrants. Tactical procedure. There are virtually no countermeasures against Tyrants' incredible power. We'll see about that. Prototype. They are not yet complete, but logically speaking, we create and mass-produce more ferocious BOWs by adding certain materials during the process of cultivating Tyrants' genes. However, there is one problem. They're not going to get into what that problem is yet.
Stay tuned for the next thrilling episode of Our Internal Documents.
I don't know if any document in this game rises to the level of itchy tasty. No, there's nothing quite as succinct or punchy as that, but...
No, I used to work at a hospital doing, like, filing, and eventually I got let go because I kept writing to be continued at the end of all the patient files.
That's not real. You're lying to me. You're doing a bit.
There's like
Charkie!
A few things in there that were true.
Okay.
Not all of it.
Manhole opener, also known as a crowbar. Can you read the question that just came up in chat for me, please?
Sure. Do you folk like the recent first-person games, 7 and 8? Or 7 and Village? I tried 7 but couldn't get too far into it. It's far too heavily scripted for my taste, plus I hated how headshots would randomly be insta-kills in the game with limited ammo. I liked 7. I didn't think I would like 7. I actually thought I would hate it, but I ended up playing through the whole thing, and I came away feeling like, yeah, that was actually a good game. Surprisingly, everyone said it was a good game, and it turned out to be pretty fun. I did not play Village because I couldn't afford it at the time, and I haven't bought it since then. I'm interested in playing it, but I have not.
I liked 7 to a point. I like it when games are compact. That's why I still think like the original Resident Evil is like probably like peak Resident Evil for me, is because it is a self-contained, like very simple A to B story. Like it takes place in one location, give or take, and it's not like. By the time you get like these first-person ones, like 7 was a return to that form, right? But then 8 is bloated. It goes too many places. And yes, it's good for variety's sake, but I feel like it's more of an action game than it is a survival horror game, which is common enough complaints.
It's definitely closer to a survival horror game than like 5 and 6 were. Oh, Jesus, what happened? Oh, God!
Get the fuck out of here. Gnarly sounds there, but this reminds me of Deadly Silence, the DS version of Resident Evil 1, where you could bring out the knife at any time, and there was also, like, first-person scenes where people would, like, where zombies would get right up in your grill and you had to knife them in first person. I feel like they should have had that in this. Umbrella Chronicles also has that, where you can pull out your knife at any time.
I would have loved to play the DS game, but never had the opportunity. Anyway, so you said you liked 7 to a point?
Yeah, I think it sniffs its own farts a little bit past a certain point, for lack of a better term. I think it thinks it's smarter than it is in terms of the way, like, we're subverting your expectations, and, like, what's the character, the bad son who, like, has, like, the elaborate traps and stuff? I think that character fucking sucks.
Saul Jr. I don't remember what his name was.
And also, once you understand
on the one hand,
mechanics,
he sucks. I guess he does suck on purpose, but I get what you mean.
And once you understand the mechanics of that game, once you see how the sausage is made as far as, like, the Pursuer AI and stuff, in the same way, like, you know, like Nemesis in RE3 make and the Tyrant, or Mr. X in RE2 make, once you understand how they're scripted to function, and how, like, you walk into a safe room and immediately they can't go in there, like, once you realize those limitations of it, the whole thing starts to fall apart around it. Like, it's impressive the first time you play it, it's scary, it can build tension, but, like, past that first playthrough, that novelty evaporates.
Well, they did add the DLC that had, like, a lot of different, like, gameplay modes, more or less. Like,
we're going to read this one out loud, by the
way.
way. September 6th. I've never seen him, but I heard the one called Vincent has become the city's supreme commander. Officially, he's an elite sent by Umbrella headquarters. In truth, he is such a fiend that he would not hesitate to kill his friend if it would promote him. Well, since I live here in this dark sewer, it doesn't mean anything to me. September 20th. I heard a disgusting rumor. The new Commander Vincent orders the facility personnel to do savage experiments every day on kids brought in from all over the world. I don't even know why those kids were brought to the city, but it sure is disturbing. Well, I don't want to get involved so long as it doesn't affect me. October 10th. It seems some terrible accident happened above ground last night. I don't know any more details, but then I heard Commander Vincent has done something cruel.
Good thing I live in a sewer.
That's how every entry should end. But, you know, that's just me, the guy who lives in the sewer. Today at last, Commander Vincent came down here for an inspection. We made a small talk, but I could see nothing but cruelty in him. When I took a picture of him as a souvenir, he became very angry. He is such a jerk. I live in a sewer. And cutscene.
A picture.
Real big asshole.
This is me. I am Vincent. It was all my fault. Who are you?
Wait. Please don't kill me. I didn't know anything about you then.
Stop.
Stop. Don't go. Yeah, so we're Vincent. That confirms it.
Yeah, that...
I think this is an interesting angle for a Resident Evil game to take. I think this is one of the first Resident Evil games that actually gave a character to your fucking playable character. Like, you know, you get, like, dialogue, you get, like, the cutscenes, you know, you get some development in 2. 1, they're mostly blank slates that just react to the things happening around them. 3, like, goes a little bit into Jill and Carlos, but ultimately, you know. But this game is, like, you are dealing with, like, a internal crises of, like, the consciousness of your mind. And yeah, you know, amnesia, like a bit hacky.
Yeah.
But, you know, it'll get us there. It serves the purpose. And, you know, it's an interesting narrative device in the sense that, like, it's not just amnesia. We have the answer, ostensibly, like, right off the gate. Like, within, like, 30 minutes of starting the game, it's like, no, like, this is who you are, and you're a fucking monster. Live with it.
Like, you're a real piece of shit. Like, everyone on this island hates you. We're going to leave notes about how much we hate you. And we have a photo of you next to a note about how much you suck, just so we never forget the face of the guy who sucks ass.
And you think that would play into, like, a morality scale, right? Like a good evil, like, where your ending is determined by, do you live up to the reputation that has been established for you? Do you become Vincent in that way, or do you like try to go against what you know of yourself?
I know you're leading into saying that's not how this game works, but that is a really good idea.
Yeah, it's not how this game works at all. So, by the way, this is the police station. It's called Paradise, which is not my idea of paradise, believe it or not.
So,
but
just
no,
to wrap up. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, please, you wrap up first.
Oh, I was going to ask you to wrap up, because just to wrap up, what'd you think of Village?
Oh, Village, I enjoyed it enough as a first-person shooter. I thought the DLC for it, that Rule of Rose, or whatever Rose is...
Not quite.
Yeah,
but
whatever it's
close.
called, I thought that DLC was fucking wretched. I thought that was miserable. It did not live up to any of the ideas I'd built up in my head for using Rose, whatever the daughter's name's powers are.
It is Rose.
It is Rose, okay.
Yeah,
I
the
thought,
DLC is not Rule of Rose. That's a different game.
I know it's a PS2 game, but it's the closest thing that came to mind. Memories of Rose, it's something like that. It's so bad I don't have the space in my brain to remember what the actual name of it is. I thought it was so fucking underwhelming. And that's why it's a miracle that this RE4 Make DLC, The Separate Ways, is actually like substantive in a way that clearly these previous ones were not.
Like I say, I'm looking forward to whatever they do with Resident Evil 9, though, since like Ethan's story seems to be done.
I'm going to read this one. October 20th. Today we received a reply to a report about the incident where 20 guinea pigs committed suicide the other day. The headquarters does not... Yeah. We're getting there now. The headquarters does not seem to have any suspicions and says that they plan to gather replacement guinea pigs soon. It's too late now.
We found 20 tiny little revolvers. And...
No, when they say guinea pigs, they mean like human experimentation.
Oh,
I know the image
okay.
in your head that you just came up with, and you know it's horrible, but it would be funnier, I guess.
This makes way more sense now. Okay, thank you for cleaning that up.
It's too late, but now I'm starting to regret that I sent a fake report of a mass suicide incident when it was actually a mass escape. However, as long as I stay in the city, it means death to me if I dare to oppose to Commander Vincent. I'll never forget that cruel smile of Vincent when he was shooting at the boys who tried to escape from the prison on that night. It looked as if he were killing a bunch of insects. Commander Vincent is indeed a very cold-blooded person, just as he is rumored to be. He is a true murderer. I am in a position where I am supposed to report the truth to headquarters, but I'm so afraid of Commander Vincent, I don't know what to do.
I will include a photo of Vincent in his stupid green jacket, so you know what a real asshole looks like.
Also, Frappe Fiasco, LOL, how sweet and innocent Charkie's imagination is.
How sweet it is in my imagination is that I thought of 20, like, little
dead
guinea pigs having killed themselves for no fucking reason.
Well, when confronted with the horrors of this game, you conjured up the least horrible image, I guess, by matter of scale. Anyway, that's a big subplot in this game. And by big subplot, I mean, like, it's something that's very background that doesn't really factor into, like, the action at all. But yeah, in case you haven't pieced it together yet, this island exists as a testing facility, as another place for Umbrella to run experiments. Their experiments here happen to focus on young boys that they sort of steal away from other places in the world, bring to the city, imprison them, run experiments on them. The incident that was just described was 20 of them trying to escape, knowing that they're going to be killed in the experiments, and so instead they just killed them outright. They just shot them to death rather than let them escape. Even though they're on an island, and realistically, where could they go? But, you know, best not to chance it. And Vincent
Another
is just
smaller
that cool.
island?
Yeah, I suppose so. They'll doggy paddle
There's
over to it.
There's a lake on the island that has a smaller island on it, and they're all going to go there and make a new society.
But then it just becomes a Lord of the Flies situation, and then no one wins.
So they have to escape to an even smaller island that's on a lake on that island.
And start a new society, but that one becomes Animal Farm. So really, it's all just a series of lateral moves. I'm stuck on some geometry here. I think I was mentioning earlier, this game would have been better if it was just a rail shooter. I think I'd go into like more of my thoughts on it, like what my ideal version of this game would be in the original article, but I'll touch on some of those ideas as they come up here, I think. Because, you know, what else are we going to talk about? And to sum up my thoughts on the modern Resident Evils, they're very hit or miss to me. I understand why they've taken the direction they've taken. I understand that it's brought them great success. I will still miss classic Resident Evil. You're not gonna pull that, you're not gonna make me not love those classic tank control, proper survival horror games, ammo economy, all that stuff.
I mean, I'm never gonna miss tank controls myself.
An Imprisoned Boy's Diary. Yeah, this one is just depressing. It just talks about how they were abducted from the Congo, that all the residents of the city work for Umbrella, mentioning how everyone has different ethnicities, so they're pulling them from all over the world, organizing the escape.
They gave me a pet guinea pig. He seems a little morose, but I love him.
And, as if to just put a dot on this, September 10th. Recently, the others have been behaving strangely. It seems like they put some kind of weird drug into our meals. Sometimes lose consciousness, too. I have to be careful. They skipped over September. I was hoping the escape would be on. They're talking about how horrible the experiments are. All I can say is that Vincent is a devil. No, not just Vincent. Even the women and children in the city don't treat us as human beings, but as guinea pigs. All the people in the city are evil. I will surely be killed if I stay here any longer. We have to hurry and execute our escape plan. This is the plan. The plan does not go off. They say they'd rather die trying to escape than die being experimented on, which, yeah, I get that sentiment. Resident Evil, it goes dark. Yeah. So...
I'll go figure. You ever play, the Revelations games?
Yeah, I think those stink on ice.
Really?
Yeah, I think the first one in particular, the things they do with the weapon upgrade system, I think it is such an unnecessary, bloated, shitty, tedious layer to manage that turned me off of that entire game. And then Revelations 2, I think was at least a little bit more interesting, but I just didn't get far in it. I think I just got turned off by, the lack of co-op on PC, or, the hoops you would have to jump through to play it as a proper co-op game. Even then, it's asymmetrical, because, one of the people in your party will not have weapons. So,
right.
One person has to be, it's like playing, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, right? Where one person just has to be carrying the orb, the light, whatever it is in that game. You know what I'm talking about. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. I just can't remember the name of the specific thing. And no one wants to be that player,
Well, the thing was, I was thinking that I've wanted to try Revelations 2 co-op, because I did play through that game single player, and I did like that one. I liked it more than Revelations 1. Revelations 1, that first real boss fight, I almost quit at that point. That fight sucked that early in the game. But I liked playing Revelations 2. I was wondering if you would want to play, not necessarily on stream, just in general.
Sure, if it's
2.
you...
And I was thinking, I would be the no-weapon tag.
No, I do that. I let you play the game as it was intended to be played. I do that for you.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, everything okay?
Yeah, everything's fine. Apparently I'm being very loud. Someone else in the house was like, "Shut up."
Fair enough.
What was I saying? Oh no, because I already played through the entire game once, the normal way.
All right,
so
fair enough.
Playing it the other way would be a novel experience.
Okay, that's fair then, I guess. As long as you're getting something out of it. Alright, we should probably... Did I pick up any red herbs yet? Green herb. We did get a shotgun at some point, but ammo was limited for these extra weapons. So it is best to stick with the things that will have infinite ammo until such a time as... I'm just going to use 2 green herbs. That'll get us back up to fine.
I'm not sure if Resident Evil Revelations 2 would be a good, stream thing. I don't think it's bad. But, like I said, I like some bad games, but I don't think Resident Evil Revelations 2 is bad.
Oh, there's a herb. Of course, it was just 5 seconds away.
There was one that we were thinking about, but we're still thinking about it.
Yes. Do I have a favorite RE clone based on the original games? No, that'd be stuff like Deep Fear and Overblood, Countdown Vampires.
Mm-hmm.
These are all games I enjoy. Hold on, I'm trying to remember. There's a path I want to go down. I need to remember exactly where that path is, and I think it's somewhere in here. so bear with me a minute. Galarians, that's another one. I think Deep Fear on Saturn is pretty cool. That might be one to play. The voice acting that is very choice, to say the least. This is not the way.
I can't think of any Resident Evil clone based on the original game Resident Evil clones that I really like, because they all have tank controls, and I just do not like tank controls. I think the only one I've really played for any extended period of time is Overblood. I played Overblood before I ever played Resident Evil.
There's also that one, what's that Dreamcast one? Blue Stinger?
Yes. I was trying to remember the name of that. It was Blue something. But
I think it's Blue Stinger. I think that one is pretty fun. I like all these games. Magic Man was mentioning the Ring Terrors Realm. That's later this month. We're doing the Ring Terrors Realm on stream for October. I feel like it's a good game for this month. And yeah, I apologize, but I'm trying to find something here, and I could just look up a guide, maybe. But I know it's just... I'm looking for a sewer grate. I'm looking for something I can open up with that manhole opener.
There's a Resident Evil inspired game that came out within the past few years called, I believe it's called Nightmare of Decay.
That game sucks.
Yeah, I know you don't like it. I've been wanting to play it, but it does not have controller support, so yeah, I haven't played it.
And I don't think they're going to add it anytime soon, because I don't think they are supporting that game much after release. There's some bad ones too that are like in a similar vein. There's a game called Back in 1995.
I've heard of that. I've also heard that wasn't very good.
No, that game is bad. And obviously, what's the obvious one we didn't mention? Silent Hill, if you want to call that a...
I did not want to call that a clone.
Oh,
but,
here we go.
I mean, you're right.
Super Darkened Staircase. I found it. I got us there. This one is so easy to miss. This is another one of the alternate paths, by the way. But probably the easiest to miss in the entire game. But it has one of the best payoffs.
I guess Silent Hill is a Resident Evil clone, if you think about it, because Konami was just trying to chase money. Like from what I remember, they had no confidence in the team behind the game.
There's a lot of story stuff. Like the FMV, the person who had to make all the FMVs had to do it all by themselves within a ridiculous time constraint because they were otherwise just going to outsource the stuff or not have cutscenes in it. It's Konami had zero faith in that game. And by the way, Silent Hill 1, my favorite Silent Hill. Like it more than 2, like it more than 3. That Silent Hill 1 is peak Silent Hill to me.
I played Silent Hill 1 once. So people in the Discord server, I think if there's anything they know about me, it's that I stay awake for very long periods of time. Because I'm always in the call going I'm 30 hours awake now, folks. Time to play something. But it was a long time ago, late teens. I was playing Silent Hill 1, and I had been up for 76 hours. I was also very sick. I had some sort of flu. That's, I think, why I couldn't sleep. Because I was too sick to actually fall asleep.
Been there before.
And I started playing Silent Hill 1 while ridiculously sleep deprived.
Good time for it. That's the ideal circumstances, really.
And I just remembered at a certain point...
Whoa, I'm getting pushed around like crazy. Hold on.
Oh, geez.
Not sure what happened there, but... Sorry, continue.
I remembered at a certain point that I sort of snapped to awareness as I was playing. I was playing, and then, television static, I guess, and then I snapped back to awareness, and I realized that I have been running into a wall for 5 straight minutes thinking that a monster was chasing me and that I was somehow getting away. Nothing was chasing me. I wasn't going anywhere, but I was just running into a wall for 5 minutes, and I just put the game down, and I was this is breaking my brain at this very moment.
All been there before.
I never ended up going back to it because tank controls didn't care for it. So
I don't mind tank controls at all. Farpa Fiasco also asked, do you like it more than 4? Referring to do I like Silent Hill 1 more than I like Silent Hill 4? I really like Silent Hill 4. I think the room is really novel. I think it does things with the psychological horror bent. I think it does really interesting things in terms of design, in terms of aesthetic, in terms of the horror elements. I should also mention, I don't get scared by video games. I've never been scared by a video game. I appreciate good horror. I appreciate good, like, ambiance and mood and, like, tension, but, like, I know every jump scare, like, a minute before it happens in any given video game.
So you say you don't get scared, or you're saying, like, you've never been jump scared, or just in general, like, I've never been creeped out?
I mean, I don't really feel those feelings, I guess. I don't really, like, feel that stuff, like, acutely. Like, I even, like, I like horror movies a lot, like, especially, like, psychological horrors, like, ones that, you know, like, should theoretically play on, like, you know, deep-seated fears that are more than just, like, gore or, like, you know, jump scare or whatever. Like, I prefer that kind of horror, but at the same time, it does not get any more effective. I think it's just more artful. I think it's just, like, more, like, subtlety and nuance to that design and less reliance on...
More of a Session 9
Oh, Session 9's fucking great, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's exactly my kind of jam. But, you know, like, I play these horror games, and I love Resident Evil. I love Silent Hill. I love, like, all these games, but, like, it's not because, like, they're effective on me, personally, but I can see how they'd be effective on other people. I appreciate them from a design standpoint a lot. So, like, even if I don't feel the feelings that they're intending to elicit, I totally get how people would feel those feelings. But it also means, like, I'm walking through this, I know, like, what's happening around every turn. I know, like, the pacing. Like, I know, like, what's behind this door without even, like, remembering, like, offhand. I can tell this in terms of momentum, in terms of, like, we wrapped around this room, so if I was a developer, I would put, like, something big on the other side of this door. Like, it's, like, things like that. And, like, that's the same thing, like, if you, like, make movies, right? If you, like, become, like, I don't know, like, a video editor, right? Just a completely arbitrary example. But... You learn how the sausage gets made, and for some people that can detract from their enjoyment of things because they don't feel the emotions as intensely as they would as, like, an outsider watching something, right? But for me, it adds to the appreciation. For me, it absolutely adds to.
I don't think I get scared playing horror games. Like, I know I have a friend who's, like, afraid of horror games. Like, they just cannot sit down and play. Like, no, I'm out. That kind of stuff. I definitely feel...
Die, Vincent!
Alright, I don't know what's gonna...
Vincent? Who's Vincent? Am I Vincent?
Am I Vincent? Well, hopefully this hallway doesn't kill me.
I'm going to die? What's I...
Hey, remember this guy from Resident Evil 2? Oh, we don't have a gas canister to shoot this time. Oh shit, we're just gonna have to shoot it to death.
I'm saying, oh yeah, I don't really get scared from horror games, but I do feel, like, dread. Oh jeez.
Told you it was worth coming down this route.
Right, I really appreciate the dread that a horror game can make me feel. Even if I'm not, like, scared to play, that moment of, like, oh, I know going in this next area is gonna suck, and I have to do it. Like, I like that.
This is, believe it or not, the most effective weapon for this scene. The shotgun does no damage to these enemies. Or, like, next to no damage. So I did pick the most effective handgun for doing this.
Specifically handgun D?
Yeah, because it's the most powerful. Like, some of the other handguns, like, there's one of them that's a Glock that has, like, 24 bullets in it, but does, like, weak damage, like, obviously. So it's just, like, it's fast, but, like, ultimately the 8 bullets I have in this Luger are going to be more effective than the 24 I have in that Glock. So it's just a matter of, like, thinking in that sort of sense. But I think that's a neat little scene right there. That's obviously what I was building up to when I said there should be something big around this corner. Like, that's 2 jump scares in a row. Like, them putting a jump scare in the middle of you dealing with that encounter. That's, like, smart design. That's a good scare in this game.
What's happening to me?
I think I forgot my name again. Who am I?
This guy, by the way, his voice actor is Patrick Harlan. He is incredibly popular English comedian in Japan. He's part of a comedy duo, a manzai act, where he's alongside a Japanese comedian, and then a lot of their jokes revolve around like, I'm from America, I'm from Japan, but how will we ever get along? So him being cast in this, and of course there's no Japanese voice acting for this game in the style of classic Resident Evils, where like the voice acting is just English and Japanese players get it with like subtitles on the screen, written in Japanese. So this was like a stunt cast, this performance, and he's trying. God bless him, he's trying.
So that reminds me of a bit of weirdness with more modern Resident Evil games. And so modern Resident Evil games will have like multiple languages, voice tracks. And there was like a hot minute where I was watching like Hololive stuff, and when the Hololive people were playing like Resident Evil 7 or Village, they'd have Japanese voice acting on because like of course. But when the Hololive English people were streaming, they would also only have the Japanese voice acting on. And I think they would even say when chat was like, hey, can you turn on like the English voice acting? Like, no, we gotta do Japanese. Like apparently it had something to do with like they only had the rights to stream with Japanese voice acting for the English branch of Hololive, and I don't understand.
That's incredibly strange, especially with a franchise that has a rich history of only having English voice acting, only bothering with that, only bothering to lay one track down.
But it just like when you get into like streaming companies, especially like with stuff like Cover, who does Hololive if you don't know.
Sure.
Like, if we stream games here, like, fuck it, we stream whatever the fuck we want, as long as Twitch doesn't ban it. But like, when companies like that do it, they have to get like all these permissions for like every single thing, and like those permissions can get revoked, or the permission is like dependent on like you can only stream this part of the game, or you can only stream the game with this language of voice acting.
I mean, we still have embargoes. Embargoes still exist in North America, like in terms of like where you have to stop playing the game, what you can show off and stuff.
Yeah, but even
as
for
far as the
games
language,
that like it just seems like such a labyrinthian and like unnecessary process. I understand it's because like laws for like copyright and shit in Japan is different, I think, in terms of like when you stream stuff versus like it being more loosey-goosey in America.
Yes, accurate.
But it seems like such a pain in the ass. A Video Game King says Atlas being notorious for that. Yeah, that's kind of what I was hinting at. Like even when games are like have been out for quite a while, like Atlas is like you can play up until like the first 5 hours, and then nope.
And that's it.
Hello? Can you hear me? Who are you? What are you doing? Answer me!
Freaking that little girl out, man. Come on.
Aren't you Vincent, the asshole?
Aren't you that guy that everyone hates? I think I hate you too. Alright, so they strategically positioned us away from... We noticed that object in the cutscene, but they moved us over here for some reason. Ha! So again, that's signposting in a way for people who are design literate, who understand how game design works. Like, all you can see are those sort of seams. All you can see are those sort of, you move them here so that you can have this jump scare here, you know what I mean? Just to put a bow on that thought I had. This is Vincent's diary, so this is us writing. October 10th, last night, a group of guinea pigs confined in the prison escaped, took weapons, and caused a riot. The guinea pigs...
I wish we had read this note first, because that would have been a way better mental image before I knew what the guinea pig thing was talking about.
The guinea pigs who were responsible for the incident were all shot to death by myself, but it will cause a lot of trouble if Umbrella Headquarters becomes aware of this. This could spoil my plan of returning to headquarters and collecting my reward for my great achievements here in the city. I ordered the prison chief to report the incident as a mass suicide, but I will also have to order the others who were involved not to talk about it.
I will also have to leave a paper trail about this.
Yes, I have to leave notes scattered across the city that will reveal everything. The people of the city who have been opposing me are now trying to gather information and intending to report to headquarters what I did. Yesterday, that little boy, Lot, told me that a spy sneaked into the city. I guess that spy may have something to do here with the rebellion happening. I'll let him for now, and see who he works for and why he is here. Then I'll kill him. It's a sad story that the only person that I can trust in this whole city is that little kid Lot.
That tyrant is extremely patient.
Yes, it's good that he's waiting. The people of the city seem to be preparing to hand the prosecution report to the headquarters people who are delivering the new guinea pigs next week. Clunky. They say that they have evidence of my doings. I can never allow them to reveal that. Those citizens will regret what they are doing. I'll teach them to what happens to those who oppose me. Now they know who holds the power.
This feels like a 2 exclamation point sentence. Yeah, okay.
There's a lot of nuance to it, the punctuation. I've spread the T-virus all over the city. Of course it was done so it looked like an accident. The city should be completely contaminated. Now I can go back to Umbrella headquarters and get promoted for my great achievements at the factory.
Guys, I fucked up and spread the virus all over the city. I'd like a promotion now, please.
No one can oppose me now. Wait, there is one person that I have to take care of. It's that spy. I have to eliminate the rat who sneaked into the city. So his solution to covering up the execution of those 20 people is just to kill the entire city, which is all Umbrella employees, which I think Umbrella would give more of a shit about than 20 lab rats, guinea pigs, if you will, getting the axe.
Hey guys, guess what I did?
I did a little oopsie whoopsies.
Doesn't that deserve a promotion?
Nope. I should have been able to tell that he was charging up that that ramming attack. There we go. I don't know why, Leon Scott Kennedy and Claire Redfield have so much trouble with Mr. X. I mean, it seemed pretty easy to me.
They try just shooting him?
In fairness, you can shoot him in Resident Evil 2 Original, and he'll drop ammo for you. Same way he does in RE2 Make. It's completely broken. Yeah, that's a word for it.
Yeah.
But, in those games, the Mr. X will get up at the end of that, obviously. That
Right.
Mr. X is dead. If we face any more Mr. X's, hint, hint, they're going to be fresh Mr. X's. I'm going to switch to a shotgun. I should also probably...
Why start now?
Combine a little bit. Well, why start now? Because we got more shotgun bullets.
Okay.
Oh, I think it only took one shotgun shot. Oh, well, I wasted one. Yeah, 2. Ooh. Good jump. Almost got the better of me.
I would like more horror games that don't have a, ammo scarcity. Like, it's still a horror game, but you are armed to the teeth. You are more than capable of fighting.
No.
Like, I see. No, see, I want that because I play a bunch of these. I play a bunch of horror games, and there are plenty of games like with, scarcity. Like, I like Fatal Frame a lot. I like. Actually, Resident Evil 4 is a bad example because Resident Evil 4 does not really have ammo scarcity at all. But that's what I mean. That's actually a good example of. Yeah, there's no real ammo scarcity in Resident Evil 4 if you play it correctly.
Yeah, it's like in the classic Resident Evils as well. You can kill every zombie in the original Resident Evil 1, and 2, and 3 probably for that matter. But I get what you're saying, yes. It feels like there's scarce ammo, because you have to be very selective. If you miss a lot, you're fucked.
It's to the extent that I've been over, like, the Amnesia style of horror games for, like, a while now.
Oh, I never liked them in the first place, yeah.
Yeah. Where, like, your only defense is to hide. It's like, oh no, this thing's gonna kill me in 1 or 2 hits.
Hold on.
What?
Vincent? It's me, your mother.
My mother?
Vincent, please, listen to your mother. I want you to leave Umbrella. I want you to stop performing those terrible crimes and just come back home.
Stop being an asshole.
And pick up some milk on the way home. That's my mom. Crazy.
Stop it! Let me go!
Normal reaction. Fair reaction.
Shh. Don't be afraid. I'm not going to hurt you.
I'm Vincent. You may have heard of me.
I don't know. I was only listening to it because I'm so bored. My brother told me to wait here. Oh, let me go!
This is a pretty bad look for Vincent.
Leave her alone! Lily, run! Go!
Lord!
Put that down. I won't harm you. I promise.
Thinking about it?
Liar. You'll kill me if I drop it. I'm not stupid. Now stay back! Don't come any closer!
I know you think that I'm a murderer, but you're wrong. I would never do anything like that.
Again, the strategy of reaching your arm out doesn't actually do anything to stop these kids from running away, Vincent. It's... Anyway, was that not a tour de force of voice acting right there?
I was waiting for the phone call. I know that part for sure in this game.
We can no longer tolerate what Commander Vincent has been doing to deprive him of his position. We must obtain conclusive evidence of his evil doings and report to headquarters. We realize that he is very intelligent and cautious. He said he thinks so. As a last resort, though, it was very dangerous for us. We were to wiretap his phone conversations. Finally, we obtained evidence that was potent enough to deprive him of his position. It contains his conversations on the prison-breaking incident last month. It proves that he shot all those young people by himself, and that he tried to hide the truth. Furthermore, this tape reveals that before coming to the city, Vincent had killed his colleague only for the purpose of his own promotion. If we can hand this tape to the corporate people coming to the city next week, he will lose his position for sure. Then the city will be peaceful once again. Here's the thing. Umbrella would not give a fuck. If anything, Umbrella would promote him on the back of that. That is the fallacy of this game. Is that Umbrella would not reward someone who is willing to kill 20 people, like 20 innocent lab rats, to protect Umbrella's sanctity and their, like, you know, the privacy that they expect for their experiments and stuff. They would
Then
just
he killed
kill
an entire island of people.
I mean, that's crossing the line
privacy.
because there's Umbrella employees there, and they could also risk losing the research data. It's $1 billion investment, so, like, this is a bad idea on Vincent's part to do what he's doing now. But ultimately, killing those things, like the thing he's trying to cover up, not really a punishable crime for him in the company that he works for.
Hello. Other guy. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So I've played so many horror games where, you know, there's ammo scarcity or just no ammo. It's just like your only recourse is to hide. It's like, I'm kind of done with that for the most part now. I would like to play more games where it is still a horror game, but you can fight effectively. Like Resident Evil 4, Left 4 Dead, I still count as horror. The Suffering, which I'm at least on my own, I'm going to play that this month.
Sure.
There are like 2 games I'm going to actually finally finish this month, just on my own, and that's Fatal Frame and The Suffering.
See, the problem for me is that so many of these games are so easy to me, even on their hardest difficulties. Like, when I jumped into RE4 Make, I had to play on Professional straight away. I played like 5 minutes in normal, and I'm like, oh, this is piss easy. Like, I'm going to be miserable playing this game because there's going to be 0 challenge to it. So I had to play it on Professional, and even that was too easy for me, save for like some bullshit with like, you know, combat encounters that are just like straight up stacked to be unfair in a way. But like, you know, I need that ammo scarcity to give like any degree of, you know, like conservation.
It's not necessarily difficulty for me, but it's just like the way that you engage with the game. Like, I would like to be, at least in my current state these days, in the past couple of years, I've been wanting horror where I'm a more active participant in the gameplay rather than like being passive and hiding or like trying to conserve things.
No, absolutely. Like, passive sucks. I don't like passive at all in my horror games. Like, the closest that I've come to, like, enjoying, like, a semi-passive experience is Clock Tower, because you can at least, like, push stuff over. You may not have, like, a gun, except for, like, Ghost Head, Clock Tower 2, The Evil Within, or whatever. But, you know, like, at least you like can like fight back in those ways. And without that, those games would be just boring to me, I guess. So no, I don't like the passive horror. Shit like Amnesia and Outlast, and I don't know, they can be thematically, they can be moodily effective, but they're not effective in terms of being compelling games to me, in terms of like actual play.
I've said in the past, in other places, and this is very petty, but I think two of the worst things to happen to horror games as a genre are Amnesia: The Dark Descent and Slender: The Eight Pages. Especially Slender: The Eight Pages, but Amnesia also had a huge part in changing what horror games were. Like, and we're still feeling it, I think.
Or the worse.
And getting to some comments in chat, assuming there's... I'll shut up if I hear anyone talk.
No, you're clear on this one.
Okay.
Hey!
That's it. That's the only voice line in that.
Anyway, getting into what people were saying in there, Magic Meow says, I heard the newest Amnesia game that just came out recently is actually really cool, though, and has mechanics. Yeah, I heard that one is good. That does sound like the best Amnesia game that Amnesia has ever been. At least the most appealing to me.
It's the best that Amnesia can be. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's more, like, involved, and it is more active, I think. And you have a gun, so that also helps. Video Game King says, the problem with getting rid of scarcity is how to make excess terrifying, which would imply your held items are a greater threat than the enemies you're facing. Close example I can think of would be any sort of game with an inventory limit or encumbrance system. I'm not necessarily looking to be terrified by the fact that, or scared by the fact that the enemy is like so much more overpowered than me, but the vibe of it, I think, is more important to me in horror. Because, like, I'm also, like I said, not really scared playing this game. And in fact, with like stuff like Amnesia, where, or games like it, where you just die in one hit or whatever, or die in a couple hits and you have no means of fighting back, I'm more annoyed by the enemies in those cases.
That spider always breaks, by the way. The one that was wiggling in place, that spider is always broken every time I've ever played this game. Unless you walk up to them. So I was just demonstrating that a little bit. They can also poison you if they hit you with the noxious stuff enough times. I lucked out by not getting poisoned. Though there's going to be like a blue herb like right here. So anyway, sorry, continue.
Anyway, I think as someone who doesn't really get scared from games, like, I'm more interested in a horror vibe than in being horrified. Your Game also asked, why do these children have the voices of British people in their 30s?
Because it's all they could cast.
Yep.
You should read the comment from Frappe Fiasco.
Yes.
It seems like an interesting
Frappe
one.
Fiasco said, I've talked to the guy who made The Suffering. He's a cool guy. He makes lots of interesting, if flawed, games. I did videos on his Mac games. I'm not... I don't know off the top of my head what other games he's made. Be interested in that, though.
Yeah, you should check out Frappe Fiasco's channel. I think it's... I'm always going to forget the name. I apologize. The Rest of the Mac.
The Rest of the Mac?
Yeah, in terms of, like, you know, like, lesser-known Macintosh games from back in the day, and, you know, like, the 80s, 90s period. He covers a lot of that sort of stuff, and I've
will
worked
check
with him
that out
before.
later.
Cool house.
Actually, Frappe, if you link to that in the Discord, your video on... Oh, thank you for that link. Yeah. Okay. I will check that out later.
YouTube channel, yes.
And let's see. Then Video Game King said, yeah, you could definitely trace some of the worst trends in horror games. Freddy's, Baldi's Basics, Garten of Ban, basically any game that's meant to be streamed or memed rather than played, back to Slender.
Yes. That is the nexus point for a lot of dog shit.
And, like, I could complain a lot about... actually, beyond the creator of the game, I actually don't have that many mean things to say about Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, I know it's a lot of people like to hate that game, and I don't personally like to play that game, but I respect that game. Don't respect Scott Cawthon, but I respect the game. But And also, Baldi's Basics, that game's a piss take to begin with. It's a joke. I think it's a semi-funny joke. Garden of Banban fucking sucks. And yeah, there's a lot of like trends that have arisen from those 3 games, but you're right that it really all does come back to Slender and Amnesia.
Street Fighter.
Prepisco says his Mac games were The Odyssey and Damage Incorporated, the latter being a strategy FPS game where your crew can have mental breakdowns and suffer from PTSD.
Is this Ghosts and Goblins? Is that what this is up here?
Maybe? I see the princess, I see the... That almost looks like the yellow demon from Mega Man on the left, though.
Lot's Diary. I saw some prisoners at the arcade today. They all had sleepy eyes. One of the girls even slavered. Some of the boys were glaring at me. They wore rugs and smelled rotten. Like Dad and Commander Vincent told me, they are very different people from our Umbrella families. Dad told me that they bring them to this island so they can operate on them to make them into decent people. I think they are doing the right thing. I hope they will become decent people sometime soon. Lots a little racist. I heard Commander Vincent killed those people who tried to escape from the prison. I wonder why such a thing happened. I know they are inferior to us, but did we have to kill them? Is this what I believed in? Umbrella and my dad were supposed to help the inferiors by operating on them. Why did he kill them? The city is in a total panic. Monsters are everywhere and they are attacking people. Those Umbrella people who were very nice to me suddenly started attacking me. I need help. Please someone rescue me.
I'm starting to think Umbrella's up to some weird things.
My dad and my mom...
look into this more, though.
Yeah, I'll need to examine further. My dad and my mom turned into monsters. One of the survivors told me that Commander Vincent turned the people in the city into monsters. I can't trust anyone now. I have to survive and protect my sister Lily, no matter what. We have to escape from the city together.
So he was alright with killing for a while.
Yeah, when he thought they were inferior, but... So, I see the Street Fighter thing, and I have to tell a story. Because there's a way I say Street Fighter. I say Street Fighter every time I say Street Fighter. Because there's... Are you familiar with the comic book character Deadpool?
Yes.
I think they're very unfunny. I think they're some of the worst comics ever written. I hate everything about Deadpool. And there is a comic where he does like a shoryuken to someone, yes. And he calls it a shoryuken. He knocks out some girl to piss off Wolverine, I think.
Yep. Yeah, that's what happens.
And I had my roommates at the time, and I was trying to relay this comic to them, and I didn't remember they said shoryuken. So instead of saying shoryuken, I described the panel as, and then Deadpool uppercuts this chick, and he says, Street Fighter! Because that's how I imagined Deadpool's voice being. And then I found the comic, and it's like, he doesn't say Street Fighter. I mean, it's a Street Fighter reference, but... Anyway, so ever since then, Street Fighter is now Street Fighter! Because that's my Deadpool impression. Anyway, dialogue time.
Are you... Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you.
My name's Vincent, and why are you running?
Please, you have to save my brother. He said he's going to the factory by the ropeway.
Factory?
What's that?
I forgot my name and what factories are. Just those two specific things.
But there are tons and tons of scary monsters there. I know that if he goes there, he's going to be killed.
What?
Please! We've already lost Mum and Dad. You've got to help my brother. Please!
I promise. Don't cry anymore, Lily.
Stop it, it's annoying.
God, you're so annoying, kid. Me, the great Vincent.
I may have been a bad person, but that was before. That's not who I am now. I will save these two kids. I swear it.
How are you doing that with your voice, mister?
You hide here. I'll go find your brother and then come back for you.
So, semi-interesting turn, the idea of a villain redeeming themselves. Can I talk to her again? No, can't interact
Nope.
with her anymore. It's a novel concept. It's a nice redemption arc. Obviously,
I mean,
you know where this is
amnesia.
going. You know exactly where this plot is going by this point, but, for someone who's not, thinking, a step ahead of the game, it's setting up something interesting at the very least.
turns out you're actually Wesker. You're even worse.
I'm Albert Wesker. I remember everything. Whoa!
Complete global saturation. I need to play. Man.
You
I
doubted
started
yourself
saying
immediately
it.
on this thought.
Yeah. I was about to say, I need to play Resident Evil 5 again. And I was like,
Nah. You really
I don't know. It's gonna get remade in 2 years anyway.
Yeah, just wait for that. Yeah, clearly.
Maybe it'll be a more tolerable game. I had fun with it when I played it the first time.
Sure, everyone did, but...
I played it in the best possible scenario, which was in one sitting, the night it came out, with 3 friends all taking turns passing around between chapters.
That does sound pretty
best
ideal.
Scenario. On the one hand, I do want to play it again, but on the other hand, I'm just remembering things in that game and stuff about how that game worked. And I was
that has some long stretches of just, tedium, of unexciting gameplay that people conveniently forget. And a lot of that is also, if you're playing co-op, a lot of that stuff sort of, the impact of it, the tedium of it is lessened, to be sure.
Yeah, I would never play that game solo. It's straight up. I would have to find someone else to play with. I tried playing that game solo years afterwards, and I gave up because I was like, oh, this sucks. So, it's the same with Resident Evil 6. I am not playing that game solo. I cannot imagine a world where I would want to play that game solo.
No, absolutely not. Shotgun time again. These are chimeras, I believe, the super lickers.
Were they in anything else?
Yeah, Resident Evil 1. Or no, not Resident Evil. Yeah, maybe. So there's
if
definitely
they're
an enemy
super lickers, then
they climb the ceiling. There's an enemy that climbs the ceilings in Resident Evil 1.
Okay. Because you called them super lickers, and lickers were Resident Evil 2.
Yes. But they were a derivative of that enemy that existed in Resident Evil 1. That only appears in the final section when you're going through the engine rooms on your way to set off the self-destruct. If you remember what I'm talking about, there's enemies that climb the walls there.
So, like I said, I started Resident Evil 4, and I never really went back to the original games to play those. I played the remakes, and I've not even actually finished some of the remakes, because Resident Evil 1 remake, I just didn't care for the pacing of it, and Resident Evil 2 remake, I started playing that right on the heels of playing through Resident Evil 4  4 to 5 times in a row, and it was that was not the pace I wanted to. I was not in the mood for that pacing.
Now, obviously, I love our remake, the original. I think that is peak survival horror. Resident Evil 2 make, well, I know we mentioned it earlier, but I just want to say, my favorite thing about Resident Evil 2 make, my favorite scene in the entire game is not anything in gameplay. It is a cutscene. It is a tiny moment where, in the Claire campaign, you've rescued Sherry, and you're going down the elevator. She just watched her mom die, and there's just a nice character moment where Sherry's just like, Claire, I'm glad I met you. There's I'm glad I met you too. Just little moments like that are usually not in a Resident Evil script, where actual moments of humanity and people growing as characters and having arcs is not a thing that happens a lot in Resident Evil, So I like that little moment in that game, and I always try to highlight that where I can.
But as far as set pieces and individual monsters go, from from Resident Evil 1 through Resident Evil Code Veronica, I don't have strong familiarity with those.
Sure.
So yeah, I didn't recognize the chimeras.
Oh, also,
and I'm sure there's.
Do you want me to say something that's going to forever ruin Resident Evil games for you?
Yeah, go for it.
At least these classic Resident Evils. I'll demonstrate it on this screen if it's what I remember. if I remember correctly what this is. So, this screen is a complete fucking anomaly. And I want you to tell me what is weird about this screen compared to other screens you've seen in the game so far.
The black void on the outside?
No, not quite. It has to do with the enemies on screen.
Well, enemy, there's only one.
Nope, there's
there's
dogs
a
in the
dog.
background.
Is this the only time tyrants mix with dogs?
This is the only time any two varieties of enemy at all appear on the same screen as together. In the original Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, there is a hard limitation where only one type of enemy can appear on a given screen at a time. So if you go into a room that has zombies in it, you will not find hunters, you will not find dogs, you will not find any other type of enemy. If you walk into a room with dogs, there can be no other enemies on screen at the same time. That's why when you go back to the mansion later in the game, they cycle out, like rooms that used to have zombies in them now have hunters. You don't see the zombies anymore. That is a hard limitation in the way that they built their engine initially.
It also makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yep. And once you see that, you can never unsee it. So this game is groundbreaking in that one very specific sense. Alright, there's a route here I want to go, because there is a incredibly weird scene. Like, weird cutscene that plays. I think it's this. I'll rewind if it's the wrong one. There's gonna be a cutscene that plays here.
Frappe Fiasco says, so I looked it up, and the voice actor for Vincent here is the same dude who played the dude pilot in the FMV cutscenes in Gamera 2000. I have not thought about Gamera 2000 in a long time.
Here we go. No sound effects in that scene. In that cutscene. Incredibly strange. Just like missing Foley, or just like... This is also maybe the hardest route that you can pick from that route, because you have to deal with a bunch of Mr. X's.
Video Game King says, that reminds me, Devil May Cry also has only one part in the whole game with multiple enemies of the same kind in a single fight. And even then it's just an enemy of a slightly stronger pilot swipe version.
Yeah, I think like what it is like video memory, where you restore your model and texture data. It's like Counter-Strike 1.5, 1.6 players. A thing that you would used to do as a player of that game competitively is you would set it so, like, you know how there's like 4 different skins for each of the CTs and Ts?
Yeah.
You would set it so you only load one model for the entire team. And one, it helps you identify like more easily because you're only looking for one type of model. And 2, it saved you on video RAM, so that you would get more consistent frame rates at a time where playing on older computers that were not built for gaming and trying to like eke out every like frame of performance you could have out of Counter-Strike. There's also like Quake 3 players, like competitive players who would also like to do like full bright so there's no textures and stuff. It all comes down to budgeting. And in terms of like them designing it around that stuff, they did as good a job as you could hope for, because it's not something that a lot of people notice, because there's at least like, as you're going from screen to screen and it resets that cache and can introduce new enemies to the next screen, they have the variety in that way that it makes it harder to notice that you're only dealing with a single variety of enemy at a time. That's economy of design right there. We've killed a lot of these Mr. X's already.
Yeah.
Does this make our guy the most like powerful Resident Evil protagonist?
I mean, he's a stone cold killer. So.
That's true. Merciless.
Right. If you and the chat, well, excuse me, I actually have to step away for a few minutes.
It's all good.
So I'll be right back.
Copy. I'll just keep this train rolling. I wonder if there's going to be an enemy at the other end of this bridge. Oh no, I couldn't have expected that. I do hope he doesn't do his... well, that's the move I was hoping he wouldn't do. That's basically a guaranteed hit. But, we still have herbs, right? I still have a mixed herb somewhere here. I can mix my own. I'm doing pretty okay on herbs right now. I could be doing better, Could be doing worse. We'll do a mixed herb. So, you know, we're playing this game. We're about an hour and a half in. We're about at, like, the 2/3 mark of this game. We're entering the final act, as it were. So I'd say another 30 to 45 minutes. And I don't know about my plans to play a bit of Gun Survivor 2 after this. If it's going to go so long as to make that less feasible. I don't want to go too long tonight. But I do think that game is interesting to show off as a point of comparison to this. I'll talk a little bit about, like, my ideas for design. As I mentioned, like, the morality thing, where obviously the ending we're building up to, whether it's a good ending or a bad ending, should be determined by, you know, what kind of actions you undertake during the campaign. That's not how this game works. We already decided our ending. I'll tell you that much. We had the only input we have on our ending already. And it was that second selection of 3 routes. That was the moment where we locked everything in. So it's a bit of a missed opportunity. There were branching paths beyond that, but what they effectively do, and I'm not entirely sure if they do this or not, but they change what enemies spawn on which screens, is the only other meaningful difference that the different routes do, which is an idea. Again, not fully utilized. Well, that's going to be our first death on this run because I had to reload there. Because you can't reload your guns manually between screens or what have you. The handgun will automatically replenish between screens, but the shotgun, we only have, like, 2 shells in it. Mercifully, we have a number of continues. How do I even exist to ask? What was the second choice again, and how did it determine the ending? The second choice we had was between the arcade, the hospital, and the library. And what that does is that locks in who the antagonist of the game is going to be, as well as determining what pistols we get, and what the most populated, the biggest enemy population will be. So, for example, if we went to the arcade, we'd that helicopter that came in the library, we'd deal with the Umbrella Cleaner Squad, so we'd be dealing with dudes with guns basically the entire game. But in this playthrough, we haven't seen a single one of them. So that's a pretty sweeping change. And if we had gone to the hospital, you know who we would have ran into? That guy in the white coat at the beginning of the game who we thought was dead. He would have dogged us for the entire game. That is the canonical path. If there is such a thing in this game that is barely canon on the best of days. But that is ultimately the route you want, because it has the most sensible choice of antagonist in it. It has the most compelling narrative conclusion. The path I chose because it's the funniest path to take. The most ridiculous antagonist picked for this one. The most inconsequential character in the game. But all will be revealed in time. You notice that's picking up a little bit in difficulty here. They're designing scenarios that are a bit more challenging, even as they're using the same enemies. And again, this is economy design. You're using your weaker enemies, but in ways that is, you know, smart, where they're still effective. They maintain some degree of danger, right? Frappe Fiasco says, this commentary sucks. Where's Charkie? We miss Charkie. I do too. I know it's a struggle, but bear with me. I'm sure they'll be back soon. And I'll just keep waxing game design philosophical in the meantime. Fuck that. That's a bullshit. I know we have a grenade launcher. I'm saving the grenade launcher. Let's go ahead, dump a few more shotgun shells. There is a degree of tracking with the cursor here, I should mention, with the crosshair. Again, doesn't quite make up for, you know, GunCom, being able to free aim, to pick and choose your targets as you please. But, you know, they're trying to make, you know, considerations for players who would have to play this on a controller, knowing there's an entire region of the world that would have no choice but to play this on a controller. You would hope they would make some acquiescence.
Hello.
Howdy.
So did I miss any big story beats?
Not as of yet. We did die once, but we can pick up a continue right where we died. So, we're approaching the Umbrella facility at this point. We're closing in on the last, maybe fourth of the game. Which, you know, we're an hour 40 minutes in, give or take. So not a super long campaign, but like I said, you want to play it like 3 times at least. You can explore everything there is to explore in the game within 3 playthroughs. What? Because the thing about the branching paths is that none of them are like super divergent. They all come back to the same central path. Right? They all reconnect at certain points. Like you saw, like, all roads led to that one place outside the payphone. All roads eventually lead to that Paradise police station. All roads lead to that sewer. Those sorts of things, right? So ultimately, like, is it really choices you're making? I mentioned that they do change what enemies spawn, and they do change the ending as well, in a very minimal capacity, but we'll be seeing that soon. How many shotgun shells does it take to kill one of these guys? I still have shotgun shells. I'm almost impressed by that. But yeah, it took 8 shots from that. Have you picked up a Magnum at any point, or do some routes give you ammo for weapons you can never acquire? I think the Magnum will not appear. I could be wrong. It might appear here, because, you know, the Magnum is obviously, like, you know, the endgame gun in a Resident Evil. Besides the rocket launcher, of course, or your infinite launcher, as the case may be. But we will see if the Magnum appears. I can't remember offhand. I only wrote the most extensive article ever written on this video game. Doesn't mean I actually remember anything I wrote. So... They're really tossing Mr. X's at us like there's like it's no one's business. Like they're just like come off a conveyor belt, fully formed.
Aren't those jackets like supposed to be like limiters or something?
Yes, I believe so. Or it's supposed to like help them be like incognito. Oh, Magnum.
Oh well, okay, never mind.
Another long-standing mystery solved. I think they're also supposed to be like bulletproof to some extent, maybe.
I think I remember they were supposed to be like mutation limiters, so they don't like go like out of control. But like maybe they would have a better success rate against you if they just didn't give them those things.
Yeah, at this point, you know, considering the amount of them we've mowed down,
so it might be confusing.
We didn't even take the nightclub path. That's a path you can take where you have to fight like 4 of them. Like, some of them in close quarters, too, so... That actually makes the Mr. X's slightly challenging. Not too challenging, but slightly challenging. How much Magnum ammo do I have? I know I picked up, like, 1 cylinder of ammo. I'm assuming he does, like, quick loader style, where he swaps cylinder swaps. Which is something you can do with revolvers if you don't want to... You mostly do it with, like, single... action revolvers, though. You wouldn't necessarily do that with, like, a... I'm talking gun nonsense, don't mind me. It's, Fuck, we're getting to the point where I want to be using anything besides the handgun. Even though the handgun is no more or less effective than anything else we have right now. Like, let's try a grenade. Haven't yet, so might as well. Yeah, I don't think that's super effective. It did not seem like super useful to me. Back to the handgun it is. I do wish there was more variety of weapon in this game. They cover all the bases, and they have 4 handguns, which is ticket to my heart. Like, preaching to me, specifically. But there should be, like, a Shotgun A and Shotgun B, right? One of them could be, like, the pump-action shotgun, like the classic Remington model. The other one could be, like, the Spaz that they give you in this, the SPAS.
Some unlockable skins, some legendary animated ones.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Then you can, like, do microtransactions in the game. Then it'd be perfect. That's really what's missing. These are the IVs, by the way. get a good look at them. We're not going to see them very often. Like, there was one screen where they had those moth enemies on this path we took. Never seen those again. That's wasteful design. That's less economy of design. But, you know, I guess they just want to show off, like, here's all the different assets we have. Here's all the different variations of creature that can exist. Boy, isn't that T-virus or G-virus? Ain't it something?
How many letter name viruses are there in the series? There's T, there's G, there's C.
Is there a C-virus?
There is, that's Resident Evil 6.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Forgot all about that one. There's progenitor virus. That's not necessarily a named virus, though, in the way that you're looking for.
Yeah. There's whatever there was in both Revelation games, which are different from each other.
Factory Worker's Diary. I can't stand it anymore. I have to take the subjects to the operating table and sever their skulls to extract a part of their brain. I do this over and over, day after day. It's awful.
So boring.
Guilt stays with me all the time, even after I go to bed. So, slightly different than your interpretation, but you know. Commander Vincent instructs us, do not see them as humans. They are just raw material we use to create tyrants with. But it is we who cut their skulls. I could never consider them as just raw materials. They are humans just like we are. Anyway, back to work. I got 5 kids that saw the heads open off today, so... busy day.
Fun days.
I asked Commander Vincent about ways to reduce their suffering, but he ignored my request, saying that by using anesthetics, pure beta-hetero-non-serotonin cannot be extracted. Even if it is the company's orders, I don't believe what we're doing is ethical. Oh, you don't fucking say, buddy! I'm sure that I'll be sent to the worst possible place when I die. Or perhaps I should say, I'm already there. So that's the final piece of the puzzle. The reason they use kids is because kids are the best candidates to become tyrants. All these tyrants, all these Mr. X's we're killing, are all kids, or derived from kids. Every Mr. X we kill is because, basically, we're killing a kid. So, you know, let that weigh on your conscience, monster. I don't even feel like fighting that last guy. So just completely bypass that fight. Oh no, the Ivies got loose. Well, it's a good thing they're basically nothing. I think for whatever it's worth, they carry over their weakness from Resident Evil 2. If you have acid rounds for the grenade launcher, I think it's a one-hit kill against them, which is the only reason to use the grenade launcher in this game, I think.
Whenever I played these, I was always really bad about using anything other than like your most basic weapons. Because it's the classic thing of, what if I need it later?
Yeah, I'm horrible with that sort of stuff. But the way to do it is that you compartmentalize different weapons for different types of enemies. You understand which weapons are the most effective, which enemies necessitate using those things. Like, zombies. You either skip them outright, which is, you know, zombie dodging, that school of thought. Like, you can zombie dodge in this game if you so choose. If you so esteemingly choose. And, you know, worst case scenario, they turn you around, then you just turn right back around. But, you know.
There's no, like, quick turn button in this game, right?
No, unless you use the quick to objective button, the L1, and you can sort of use that to, like, hone in on where you're meant to go. Like, I can do... Oh, no, it actually is pointing towards this door. Let me try here, and then it'll point me towards... Okay, so something like that.
Very situational.
Yeah, not what you're looking for. That it does not what you're asking for, basically. This screen sucks because you can miss the activation disc here. First of all, you have to know the backtrack to the screen. Second of all, the sticky spot, like the spot where it actually recognizes you as inserting the activation disc into the thing, it's not the big red flashing button. It's this slot over here. I'll walk into this for 10 minutes being like, why isn't this working? I have the disc. And it's like, no, it's right here. Anyway, maybe that's just a me problem. Maybe I'm just dumb.
Video Game King says, I looked it up, and here are the letters you have bit without a Resident Evil virus. D, F, H, J, K, L, O, Q, R, and W.
Alright, now say it backwards so you can pass your sobriety test.
W F fuck.
You're under arrest. Under
I'm loaded up on
DUI.
Red Bull. I'm sorry.
ZYXWVUTSR R Q PONML KJGFEDCBA. That's as good as I can do that.
Now, most of those are viruses, so you fucked up.
I was just doing the sobriety test thing. You practice that in case you... I've never driven drunk. I've never once in my life, and I never will. But, did I skip I and H? Who was keeping... First of all, fuck you for keeping track of that, Video Game King. For calling me out for doing that. Second of all, I don't think the officer would notice in that scenario. I think the point is just to show that you can do it without, like, completely falling apart. I think you're allowed to miss a letter or two. Then again, what do I know?
Yeah, I've never had a sobriety test done to me, and I've never driven drunk, so...
I've been pulled over by drunk cops. I've dealt with inebriated officers who crashed their car immediately after talking to me. So, you know, I got the inverse on that. I should have fucking administered a test on him. I should have asked him to say the alphabet backwards to make sure he's fucking safe to drive.
Citizens arrest. Citizens sobriety test.
Yeah, that shit goes off. Yeah, that you can definitely get away with that without getting shot immediately. Look at this guy. He is not breathing anymore. Yeah, his skin's also yellow. I think that would be, like, the primary thing. The fact that, like, he's, like, bleeding, his flesh is, like, falling off. That'd be the first thing I noticed. But yeah, check for a pulse, too, while you're at it. Just, you know, cover your bases. They should just let you unlock the door by interacting with the door. You shouldn't have to turn right, activate the... I get why they did it. It makes a sort of sense. But it can confuse players, I think. Lead to unnecessary backtracking, potentially.
Oh, music is taking a bit of a turn here.
Yeah, as we're getting deeper in the labs, this is science facility research music. Corporate hymn of Umbrella.
Do you think Umbrella is the sort of company that has, like, a loyalty song they do every morning?
We are Umbrella, we love our jobs, killing all the people and turning them into mobs. Yeah, something like that, right?
Along those lines. I know there's some, like, retail places that actually do those things in the morning where you have to do a...
Yeah, that's very cult-like behavior to me.
Yeah. I have thankfully never worked for one of those companies. I've worked in a adjacent company where, like, it's technically owned by a company that does that, but we never did that shit.
Yeah, I would quit on the spot. I'd be like, haha, that's cute, I'm gone. Deuces. I ain't drinking that Kool-Aid, buddy.
I don't think I've ever been in a situation where I've given a 2-week notice. I know you're supposed to.
Creating these monsters on this island.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, you just realized that? But I think any situation where I've ever quit a job was always a, you know what, fuck this place, I'm out.
I've done that twice. I've given 2 weeks notice more times than not, though. There's only 2 jobs I've walked out on the spot. Weird scream from that tyrant.
Yeah.
Makes you feel extra bad about killing him.
Didn't realize he was a soprano.
They have the voice of an angel. You just don't know. You never get a chance to talk to him. If we could just put the violence aside and we could just, like, talk it out, we could learn so much more about them.
They're building a choir for the church on the island with all these tyrants. They're not war machines.
This should be like Resident Evil 1, where if you're too slow here, it decapitates Lot right in front of you. The hunter just takes Lot's head off right then and there.
Would they straight up, like, graphically kill a kid in this game?
No. I mean, they'll heavily imply that kids have died and committed suicide, but
you're technically killing a bunch of kids by killing these tyrants.
Yeah.
But, you know, they don't look like kids. So, not that, you know, Vincent would care either way.
Yeah, no. They're all those guinea pigs to him. Yeah, there's a famous scene in Resident Evil 1 where you can watch Rebecca Chambers get decapitated if you're too slow to react to them getting attacked by a hunter.
What? I'm sorry.
You know, what's ironic is that Vincent actually has a pet guinea pig.
God. It's not your fault. Vincent is the one who caused everything. Well, I mean,
You? What do you mean? You're the detective. Your name is Ark Thompson.
What? Really? I'm not Vincent? Then why did you run away from me?
Because I'm the one that told Vincent about you.
Hello, I'm Vincent. I've been transferred to this facility to inspect it.
I own a mansion and a yacht.
I know Commander Vincent. So I knew that you weren't him when I saw you.
What? A spy? Thank you. You are a good boy, Lot.
He pat him on the head like a dog.
And not Vincent. Lot, do you know of any way to get off this island?
My dad told me that there's a railway station up ahead from here.
A railway station?
I heard that it runs underground.
Okay, we'll use that. Let's go get Lily. Go ahead! Hurry! We'll meet at the station!
The self-destruction system has been activated.
Not a Resident Evil game without a self-destruct sequence.
Will self-destruct in 10 minutes.
Now,
Rod, I know that's you doing a robot voice.
Now there is one more cutscene immediately after this. There's actually a couple in rapid succession, but this one has one of the all-time lines of the game in it. Wait, hold on. Is this the way we came? Or, yeah, it's the way we came. This is the way we need to go. Okay. Alright, here it comes.
I'll save my question for after this cutscene.
That's right. At the request of my friend, Leon S. Kennedy, I came here to investigate.
There it is!
Yes. I remember everything.
His very good friend, Leon Scott Kennedy, his best bud, his war buddy.
You are a spy, aren't you?
That's how you buy stock in this character among the fans. That's how you convince people, no, this guy's cool, actually. He's friends with Leon. Remember Leon? He's cool.
It's his best friend from Canada. Ark Thompson? Was that his name?
Yeah, Ark Thompson. Remember the dog tags at the beginning of the game? See,
No.
Vincent grabbed them off of us. He was holding on to them. We picked up the dog tags off of him. We're like, Ark Thompson, that's a weird name.
Yeah.
Anyway, who am I?
I'm not Vincent. I'm Ark.
I wonder why my mom called me Vincent. So that's my question. Why is everyone on this island gaslighting you?
Because you came to the island, Ark came to the island pretending to be Vincent, because no one on the island had seen Vincent outside of higher-up employees. So he tried to pretend to be Vincent, which immediately caught the attention of Lot, who actually knew what Vincent looked like. So he went to the real Vincent and said, hey, there's a guy pretending to be you. And he's like, good boy, Lot. Here, have a dog treat while I pet you on the head like a dog and call you a good boy. And then so that launches the whole series of events here, because Vincent's countermeasure to the mounting pressure from the incident that we mentioned several times earlier, and knowing there's a spy on the island, is just burn the whole fucking thing to the ground. And I mentioned that if we had taken the hospital route earlier, Vincent would have been the antagonist of the game. The way he's supposed to be. We would run into him again. We're not going to run into him in this path. Do you know who we're going to run into?
Another tyrant?
You'll see. I always forget what to do in this room. Bear with me a second. There's like some sequence of panels I need to activate in some specific order. I did this one. I think that unlocks... Oh. Watch inside the facility. Is it, do I activate the thing here? Or do I back out? I think I gotta come back to this room. Unless I'm completely, like, fucking this up. Anyway, yeah. You'll see who the main antagonist of this route is. Sooner than later. Alright, so can't open that door. What fucking door can we open? There's only so many doors here. Do we have a map for this area? Yeah, so there's only... Huh. Oh, okay. I get it. I activate the power, which lets me flip this switch, which lets me do the thing. I'm hearing window sounds over and over again, by the way. Is that coming through on the screen? On the stream?
I don't hear it.
Okay, good. I'll just keep listening to the windows. Ba-doom, ba-doom, over and over
Chad,
again.
is it coming through for you?
I'm going to assume no for right now. Then I'll have to, obviously, investigate it afterwards.
Prep says, I don't hear it. Viking says, I don't either. So.
Alright, that's all that really matters. I can deal with, like, repetitive sounds in my ear. I won't go crazy from it. But if it was coming through on the screen, on the stream, that would drive me crazy. Having to troubleshoot that shit on the fly. Cool key. And what's this guy doing? I wonder what this guy's up to. Creature being cultivated here appears to be ready to move. I'll just nip this in the bud right now.
Yeah.
Nah, no dice. No. Can I power it off? Can I do anything here? Oh, how to extract the material. We already know. It's... You do surgery on young boys that are without anesthesia because they need to be, like, in fear and in pain.
Is this what Pizzagate was about?
As a beta hetero non-serotonin only exists in active cells, you can't extract it from a dead brain. Thus, the best way to extract the material is to cut open the subject's skull without using anesthesia. This will cause the excessive secretion of non-adrenaline, or noradrenaline. The pituitary is then ripe for immediate extraction. Vincent Goldman, Commander, Tyrant Plant on Sheena Island.
I can't believe I wrote this. Wait a minute, I didn't write this. I still gotta get used to that.
Yeah, I gotta get used to not being this Vincent character. I gotta learn about this Ark Thompson guy, what he's all about. Alright, are you ready to see who the main antagonist is?
Show me. It's Vincent's mother. I told you to be a good boy and come home!
Now I'll have to discipline you in my own way, I guess. I don't know.
The only way you know, murder.
Andy!
Yes! Kill you, Vincent.
Forgot about him.
I'm not Vincent!
Liar! Who else could you be? You are Vincent. You're a murderer. Now die!
There's only two people in this world, me and Vincent. And you're not me. Ah, fuck.
So, what changes here depending on what route you take, the arcade, the hospital, or the library, is this could either be Vincent, the actual Vincent, it could be the commander of the Umbrella Cleaner Squad, or it could be the fucking janitor. And we got the janitor. I picked the funniest route right off the gates. Because I knew it was coming. Alright, let me give him my back. He can turn me around. Or he can get stuck on geometry.
Oh, wait.
Oh, there he is. Okay. I do have magnum ammo, but I...
Wait, can you manually reload, or do you have to wait until your bullets
You have to wait till you're empty.
Oh, that's bad.
Wait, hold on. I actually wonder about that. If I can do...
Oh!
I never thought to do that, but you can totally do that, like in a classic Resident Evil game. I just thought this game was like so outside of like the typical for this franchise that they wouldn't have bothered including that, but nah. Shows what I know. Could have been doing that this whole time. Well, as long as I'm thinking about that right now. Shotgun, 8 shots, Magnum. Grenade launcher doesn't have rounds because it does like 1 shot at a time. But Magnum has 6 rounds. How many more Magnum rounds do I have? 12? Okay. Let's use the Magnum.
So is this the final boss? Or you know, don't say. We'll let it be a surprise.
Well, that's the end of him. But clearly, nothing else is going to happen. Let's just dump shotgun bullets at this point. How many shotgun rounds do I have left? Can I just use these?
I think that's it. That's it.
Nope, I got another 8.
Never mind. You have an 8.
Perhaps this will answer your question. It's never over with these fucking tyrants.
Oh, this camera work sucks.
Well, they didn't want to get too
sucks
close.
to look at way.
Oh, I can just open this door, I guess. Cool. And see, it's inconsistent where you have to activate the panels or activate the doors themselves when you have keys for them. They need to lock that shit in.
Cartoon dust clouds. That's what they were storing them all for later. They were going to film a live-action Wile E. Coyote cartoon.
Is that really... Did no one come out of any of these?
Nope.
On different routes, different enemies come out of these. I somehow picked a route where no one comes out, so it's just a completely empty gesture of a... Strange.
So that's where they were keeping their props. So their cartoon smoke cloud props.
Very strange. I don't know if I've ever run into that before. It's more janitors, says Beam Splash to Sid.
Get on the train! Hurry!
We're just speedrunning all the Resident Evil hallmarks at this point. Getting on a train, self-destruct ticking down. We've knocked out a tyrant.
That's... Right, that self-destruct said you had 10 minutes left. That was all fake, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I mean, usually these games have an actual self-destruct sequence, right? Where it's
yeah,
like,
they'll have an actual
clock.
timer on screen at a certain point. Yeah. There we go. I actually had to press X on this one, so I couldn't just run into it. Again, inconsistencies with what you have to activate, what this activates by running into it. It's little things like that that add up. Oh, these guys.
Geez.
They have guns.
SWAT gorillas.
Yeah, we'd have been dealing with these guys all game long if we had taken the arcade route. And the final boss that we would have, or the guy before the tyrant, the guy that would have gotten gutted by the tyrant would have been the commander of those guys. But as far as this playthrough is concerned, as far as the route that we took, that's the only time we're ever going to see him.
Commander, we finally found him. Oh, he's on the train. Fuck.
Well, we missed our shot. We kind of bungled this operation up.
The end. Nope, wrong way train.
This actually took us right.
Oh no,
next
that's
to
the end of the
bomb.
line. I thought he just like drove like forward a couple inches in the wall and was like, "We're done here."
Any herbs for me? Any last minute pickups?
No inspirational music on an elevator.
No. They'd have to do a Muzak version of that song, and they didn't have that in the budget.
That was already close to a Muzak version of itself.
Fair point.
Get in the helicopter!
All right, Lot, you're flying.
I bet that Tyrant thought he looked so cool when he was doing that.
Which is diminished by how uncool he looks here.
You would have thought, like, Umbrella would have put more time and money into, like, developing a version of the virus that didn't give their bioweapons very obvious large weak points. Like, even just aesthetically.
Yeah. Well, mutations are hard to control.
Like, we've created the ultimate weapon, although it does have a big red dot on it that will make it die if you shoot it. Can't work around that.
You win some, you lose some.
And they lost this one. God, I'm so stupid. I can't believe I let him shoot me so many times.
Idiot. I hate myself.
Big slappy.
Gross.
Oh, time to show him my weak spot. Really intimidate him with this.
He's so confident in his abilities that he's just willing to give it up right away.
I don't have a reason for this necessarily, but I never liked the trope of the boss monster in these things that just keeps mutating over and over again and just doesn't die. I don't know why. Don't have a good reason. It's just like...
It's predictable at a certain point.
Yeah. Maybe that's it. It's just predictable. It's like, yeah, of course. It's just an evolution of the whole thing of, like, bosses having multiple phases, I know, but they just drag it out a lot in these games. Like, you know, Wilkins is, like, the entirety of Resident Evil 2 is just next phase.
Oh, he's lifting me up. Luckily, while he's lifting me up, I have a moment to eat some herbs, so this won't sting as bad. Oh, this is my last green herb.
Yeah. Hey, could you give me a moment? I need to take a little snack here. Alright, thanks. Oh, did he not actually hurt you?
Yeah, because I shot him while he was picking me up. So I kind of canceled him out. Alright, last 4 shots. Smile, you son of a bitch. Well, I whiffed that last shot.
Well, would have been cool if it worked. Oh well. Back to the handgun. Or that one.
We'll see if this does anything, if this accomplishes anything.
Go! Quick.
Alright, quickly switch to some other type of round. We'll try flame rounds.
You did make them smoky. Did I just call... Sid asked, did you just call Birkin Wilkins? William Wilkins. Yes, I did. I couldn't remember his fucking name.
I died. Luckily, we have another continue. I could have just rewound, but I want to see if I keep all my ammo, if it remembered what ammo I walked into the room with.
Bioweapon Wilkins coffee. Yeah, I was thinking of Wilkins coffee for some reason while I was trying to remember Birkin.
These things happen. Happens to the best of us.
2 is the Resident Evil
Oh,
I
fuck
probably...
this. I don't want to redo all this shit.
I probably played
rewind.
2 the least out of any Resident Evil that I have played.
Alright, what can we do? How can we make this work? With the materials that we have, and not being able to
What
get
about-
hit even once?
What about normal grenade rounds? That'd be better?
Possibly. Grenade gun. Not even grenade launcher, it's a grenade gun.
I missed it a bit earlier, but Video Game King said, only now do I realize Survivors are a reverse family story, i.e. the 2 children spend much of the story parenting their dad.
Oh, it's like a spread shot grenade. I should have remembered that. Makes it ultimately useless for this fight, but it's supposed to be like for crowd control. But I'm also hitting him with 5 grenades at once, so you think that would do like some amount of damage. Okay.
Nope.
New strategy. Go back to the pistol.
Alright. As you said, if you just don't look at him, he can't kill you.
That's true. Watch this. He has to keep jumping. Wait a minute, that's the strategy! Just do this! Alright, take a few shots. I needed to turn around quicker, but we're onto something here, right?
Yeah, there you go.
You heard the shred sound, but he couldn't hit me.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at you.
You got some...
Oh, no, he picked me up.
Okay, he can do that.
Alright, so not a foolproof strategy.
I was about to say, you have like... Oh, there you go. You have like real thick... The jacket you're wearing is like real thick on the back.
Mercifully.
Alright, next phase.
Hope you save some Magnum ammo.
No, Leon shows up. He's like, here, my best friend. Take a rocket launcher.
Thank you, my very good friend.
When I get back to the mainland, I'm going to see my best friend, Leon S. Kennedy. He told me about something in Spain that we need to take care of.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
I'm also dating Jill Valentine. She's super cool. She lets me know how studly I am.
Anyway, hashtag bring back Ark.
I know
Let's
some
get it
people
trending.
who very much have genuinely campaigned for bring back Ark.
We're safe.
It can't be!
I told you. I want to go to the mainland too. This is way quicker, thank you. Now one's enough.
I fucking love it. It never gets old. So
You're
remind
being
me, was I Vincent or was I Ark?
Am I supposed to kill you or not?
I don't know, but don't worry. We can fly as long as we have fuel.
Oh no, we're out of fuel. Oh, crash landing, guess we're fucked.
Hey, what does this E mean? It's flashing. Also, I did not want to overlook this. Video Game King said, out in the town having time of my life with Leon S. Kennedy. He's just out of frame laughing too.
So that was Resident Evil Survivor.
That was fun.
Yeah, I don't hate this game. I can complain about facets of the design decision, but I think it had some novel ideas. Again, whole thing could have been on fucking rails. Just put the whole thing on rails. And I mean, they did that. Umbrella Chronicles is that. It is the natural evolution of this. And
Darkside Chronicles.
And Darkside Chronicles. And fuck, they're great. I fucking love those games. And this could have been one of those. And as it stands, it falls just a little bit short of that, but only just a little bit short. I think this is a fine little game. It's a breezy 2 hours, 2.5 hours, however long it took. And then, there's a replay value, finding the different routes, seeing how they affect the ending. It's not the best replay value incentive in the world, but it's, something. It's I can't get mad about this game. That's the best thing I could say about a game, usually. The Kissed Ice Kids.
Kissed Ice Kids.
Lying Kitty. Thank you for the enemy program, Kitty. But yeah, no, so
Cockpit?
I wonder what that would refer to in terms of developments.
Here, go on.
I just think it's like, I think people shit on this game unnecessarily. I think for Tosei's first crack at, doing a standalone Resident Evil game, for the first third-party Resident Evil game, I should say, it's not a terrible one. I know this is, the dark sheep of the franchise. Oh! Hold on! I forgot to do something. This won't make sense. You won't be able to see this, Charkie, but for the people on the stream, we finished the game, so... we won! So...
Yay!
So I'll start doing that at the end of games from now on if I ever actually finish a game. But, yeah, give it a shot if you felt like this was interesting, and if you have access to, a gun comm setup, maybe, try it out that way. Oh, I gotta drink up. Let me do a double. Presented by Capcom. Something that this game is missing, though, is... alternate gameplay modes, like the weird battle mode in Saturn, or a range mode. It could do with that. As it stands, you get the New Game Plus. You get your ranking here.
A rank?
Yeah, I could have done better. I've done S rank in this legitimately before.
Only one continue and ignoring the rewinds?
Yeah. Which I only rewound the one time. So... and if I save the game, I have some data here. I'll save over this file, who cares? The stars represent the amount of weapons you could potentially unlock. Okay to quit saving? Yeah. And I'll load up my 100% complete save, just to show you what you get out of it. You also notice that you couldn't have saved mid-game at any point. You have to play through this entire game in a single sitting, which could be a bit of pain in the butt. Once you start, you can't stop until you... give up until you get killed, or until you finish the game. Let's go ahead. And so yeah, loading any of these saves means we start at the beginning of the game on a fresh route. And I'm not going to, obviously, replay the entire game to pick up the route that we missed. Just to show where it starts you at. You also can't skip any of these cutscenes, even on a New Game Plus. You can mash every button. Oh, actually, you know what? Start did work at a certain point there. There are certain things you can't skip. Alright, so handgun A, D, shotgun, magnum. There's C, that's I think a Sig Sauer. There's the rocket launcher, infinite rocket launch. You unlock that for getting every other weapon in the game and getting an S rank or A rank. It might be max A rank in this game. And then B is the a CZ or a Beretta or something. Or
we gotta see the rocket launcher.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Now, is there splash damage if you're too close to something, or is it just fine?
You're fine.
You're fine.
Let's see how it
Quite
blows
literally.
up a zombie. Yeah, quite literally fine. Very good. And of course, on this playthrough, Ark remembers who he is, so we won't have to go through that entire plot about amnesia again. And he's like, been here, done this.
You look familiar, but...
What happens is that he realizes he's low on fuel, so he flies back to the island, but then Vincent jumps on the thing, and he falls out, and he forgets everything again. And that's how the New Game Plus works.
I couldn't skip this
all the guns.
cutscene. Yeah,
Looks
so
good.
it's just one-hit kills, basically, on most things, except for, like, maybe, like, the Mr. X's and Tyrants. But, you know, that's well-earned, I guess, if you're willing to put in the hours. But, yeah, that's Resident Evil Survivor, more or less. Came out, did okay financially. Not so hot critically. People were very willing and able and ready to jump on this as being not authentic Resident Evil. It was mostly middling rather than, like, completely negative. But the reception to it and the fact that it didn't have the gun comm in North America definitely hurt it in the long run, I think.
It did get some follow-ups, though.
It did. And we're going to play just a little bit of the first follow-up to it, which is Resident Evil Gun Survivor 2, Code Veronica. Just for funsies. Because, you know, we're still under 3 hours, so I can actually probably beat this in under 30 minutes. Is the truth of it. Let me make sure it actually shows up on stream first, and then I will stream it out to you.
All right. Since I know we're not getting to it, the third game is Dead Aim, right, for PS2?
No, the third Gun Survivor is Dino Crisis.
Yeah.
Is a Dino Crisis,
that's right.
like gun shooter. And then comes Dead Aim, which is the first one that Kavia worked on. And off the strength of that, they were brought on to do Umbrella Chronicles and Darkside Chronicles as well, which are spiritually Gun Survivors. 5 and 6, I guess, if you want to call them that. But they're actually on rails, whereas all these other Gun Survivor games are actually on foot. So I guess that is a key distinction.
At least in North America, did all the other ones have GunCon support, including this one?
This didn't come out in North America. That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to build up to. We're playing the European version of this. There's a European and Japanese version. There is no North American version of this game. Because of the reception to the first one, they didn't bother to localize it. Then they were trying to really more push proper mainline Code Veronica, rather than confusing them with, here's another version of Code Veronica. And it's everyone's favorite guy, Steve. The same person I know who loves Ark Thompson, unironically, also thinks Steve is super cool.
Oh, look at him there.
I love Resident Evil. I can't get on board that. I can't get on board Steve being anything other than, obnoxious. I know it's supposed to be Leonardo DiCaprio, but I also don't like Leonardo DiCaprio. I think he's a hack actor, which is something, He knows how to yell. That's basically all he knows how to do. That's way outside of the scope of what we're going for here. So this game was also an arcade game, I should be very clear. This one actually came out in arcades with a, mounted gun system. So when they say arcade mode here, they mean an actual arcade mode. And they added some bonus modes, like a dungeon mode where they added some new levels that are more labyrinthian in nature. There's a versus roach mode where you have to kill roaches as quickly as possible. You have to basically play the role of exterminator.
Monster roaches, just normal size roaches.
Normal size roaches. I forget what Secret Report is.
Sid mentions that the Japanese title for Resident Evil Dead Aim is Biohazard Heroes Never Die.
Alright, I know what these are, actually. These are the brief cutscenes, maybe, that play. That last one was the ending to the game, so maybe let's not load that. Let's maybe get there naturally if I can.
So if this was an arcade game, is this one on rails?
No, surprisingly. I'm gonna play as Claire.
Let's go.
Claire's my favorite Resident Evil protagonist. I just think she's neat.
I mean, mine's Leon, but my first was Resident Evil 4, so of course it's Leon.
So yeah, this is Code Veronica without voice acting or any, the puzzles or, much of the things that made it, a Resident Evil game.
But no voice acting, he said.
No voice acting. They could have just repurposed the lines from the original game if they wanted to.
Oh, there's still dialogue, there's just no... Okay.
So, first-person shooter.
Oh, yeah. Like a proper... Or more of a proper one.
Yeah, there's strafing. This is all about clearing screens as quickly and efficiently as possible. because there is a time limit on the top of the screen. Yes, the Nemesis will pursue you if you run out of time, and he is invincible. So the goal for every stage is to collect some number of keys, and then get to the end of the stage to fight the final boss before the Nemesis shows up.
Can you defeat the Nemesis? I assume you cannot.
No, he is straight up invincible. If you shoot him, it'll straight up say "Invincible Enemy" on the screen. Preppa Fiasco, you missed the start of this. What is this, and do you like it? This is Gun Survivor 2, Code Veronica, and I like this. I think this is fun. It, again, doesn't replace Code Veronica. This is not a reasonable alternative. It skips most of, like, you know, the interesting things about Code Veronica, what handful there are. But, you know, it's a fun take.
I could definitely see that this was an arcade game. What was the controls like on the arcade? Like, how did
you had the gun, and the gun had buttons on the side of it that you would use to interface to do directions and stuff. And again, this is also a Guncom game on. You can play this with a Guncom. Is what I'm trying to get at on your console of choice, which would be the PS2, because this only came out on PS2.
This is a PS2. Yeah, I guess it is. It kind of looks in between to me.
Well, yeah, it's reusing all the Code Veronica assets, which were made for Dreamcast initially.
Yeah, okay.
And I think the arcade hardware was also like Naomi hardware, or whatever the Dreamcast in a cabinet hardware was, so... Oh, I took damage. I'm not going to get the no damage bonus for this stage.
Contamination.
I'm going to play this slow, deliberately, because I want to see the Nemesis. Actually, no, we have like 5 stages. We'll see him one of the next stages if we don't see them here.
Contamination.
Just like wait right by the exit, and like the moment he shows up, just turn around and go like, "All right, see ya."
You could do that if you want to. If you want to forfeit your precious time bonus.
Oh, but never mind. Fuck it. You need the time bonus.
Well, yeah, especially because I didn't get the no damage taken bonus. There's also a bonus if you only use the handgun. So all the weapons you're picking up, if you just like don't use them, you get an extra 10,000 point bonus for that. There we go.
Instruction A.
Leave here because it is dangerous, caution biohazard level 1.
Do you think the remake train is ever going to get to Code Veronica?
I think they're going to cut off. I think they're only focused on the mainline ones, which is probably for the best. I think, you know, this could be DLC for some other larger game, maybe.
I kind of wish they would remake this one, because that's the only way I'd ever play this one.
Yeah. I mean, Code Veronica is not my favorite. I love Claire, but I like things in the plot of this, narratively, that happen. But ultimately, like, it's one of the weaker of the survival horror, the classic entries. See, I could have got another 10,000 points if I did a no damage bonus. As it stands, I'm only going to get a B rank instead of an A rank.
It says, oh wow, those were unused voice lines for the self-destruct countdown. I guess from the original Code Veronica.
Yeah. I found a use for them. Official residence.
Parentheses. Evil.
Yeah, there's only 5 stages, 6 stages? I can't remember. So we're already in the second one.
Do you have to worry about Steve's health at all, or is he just fine?
Oh, he can get killed. And then he won't come back unless you do a continue, unless you get knocked out the game too.
So yeah, the cutscenes if he's dead.
He's just still in the cutscenes.
Oh, okay.
This isn't going to be an exhaustive exploration of every room. I know where all the necessary items are. Like that blue jewel. There's jewels you collect in all the stages that will... I think there's like a bonus stage or something. It's like an extra rank. I can't remember exactly what it is offhand. But there's a reason to do it. To go out of your way to collect them.
I think the one... I've never played Code Veronica. And I know some of Code Veronica, but I think the favorite thing I'm aware of in Code Veronica is, like, the fact that a very important character is a mouse.
Yeah. I don't know, very important. They're important in the progression, I guess.
He's important in the progression. He sees a lot of shit. He gives you good insight into the world that is and what things are happening. I guess to that end, he's also literate and able to write. That's how you know.
I suppose so.
Yeah, Sid says that he does save Claire's life. That is important.
Some of these guys explode when you shoot them, by the way, so I'm kind of hoping that each of these guys blows up and spares me the trouble of having to deal with their compadres.
DIJ activates the device you use to kill the tyrant at the end of Disc 1.
Okay, so they are slightly more important, I suppose.
Yes.
They don't come back. They don't get referenced in any future games.
And they should. They should have been a character in like Mercenaries mode in at least one of the games.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Alright, let's clear the stage with time to spare.
He's red, he's going to his final form. Oh no, Steve came back to normal.
Tyrant will like one-hit kill them. So or Nemesis, I should say.
People are noting that the first aid says fast aid.
Well, I mean, it's fast-acting healing.
Yeah.
Caution, biohazard, level 2. Leave here because it is dangerous. We will probably see the Nemesis on the next stage, because I don't remember the routes in this game. Blow these open. I don't want to pick that up, because that'll replace the Magnum I've been collecting ammo for. I don't think the game cares about accuracy, mercifully enough. Or not a lot, at the very least. Watch out, guys!
Turn around at the same time and shoot him. And look how cool. No, wait, that was cool enough.
You could have been cleared. Thanks, anyway.
I could see someone thinking Steve's a cool character if they only played this game and didn't play the original Code Veronica.
Sure. I'll always be a B-grade player. I actually did go through everything in this game. I unlocked everything. I have Steve set to level 8 AI, so he's as effective as he'll ever be. You have to beat the game twice to unlock that, yeah? Alright, this level has 2 keys and 2 floors you have to go through, so I'm gonna fuck this up. And have to deal with the Nemesis.
It said Steve's senses are honed to a razor's edge from a lifetime of growing up in the suburbs. We established in the Extreme Sports stream that living in the suburbs is dangerous. Like, you're your own worst enemy as a kid.
That dog is running very slowly for some reason.
Video Game King says he has the gold guns from the beginning. Is that because you've leveled him up all the way?
No, he just has them for some reason.
Oh, okay. So, well, then he says, does that mean he somehow attained them without triggering the trap that he basically threw Claire into?
Don't think about it too much. Because the ending of this game, I'm going to spoil it, because obviously it's like follows Code Veronica to like a certain extent. The ending is that this is all a dream. That this version of events is all Claire's dream while she's riding the helicopter with Chris. So, you know, fuck the ending to this game.
Is it like framed visually the same way as the ending of Super Mario Brothers 2?
No, it is you on
a close up of hers.
It is that ending that we saw that I played for a second from the secret files, where you just see the screenshot of the helicopter taking off from the island, and it's just a text crawl that says, "I woke up from a strange dream."
I just want like a close up of her face and sleeping, and she has a nightcap on.
And she goes right back to bed afterwards. Like...
Yeah, there's a thought bubble with like her and Steve like shooting things.
More Magnum ammo. And healing. Well, hold on, I gotta kill this guy first, and I'll see if it's fast aid. A fast aid box.
Yeah.
No herbs in this game. I guess they didn't want to portray that in the arcades. I guess they didn't want to like have to explain this isn't weed. This ain't drugs. Let's make it a first aid kit.
It says, yeah, I don't know why Claire is dreaming of perfectly accurate hunters and lickers. She doesn't fight hunters in Code Veronica, and lickers aren't in Code Veronica at all.
She doesn't know what the Nemesis is. She doesn't know what the
yeah, she really doesn't know what Nemesis is.
These guys are pukers. Alright, I think if I'm remembering correctly, it's clear the first floor, go up to the second floor, and then the door to progress is on the second floor. Alright, so don't go that way. Go this way first. I think. It's also a safe bet that anytime you transition rooms, there's going to be enemies on the other side of the door. That you might as well just start shooting the second you.
Oh, save your game.
I'll get right on that. I really shouldn't be wasting time. Because if the tyrant spawns on this floor, then I'm probably fucked.
Oh, so I assume you've played the other Gun Survivor games.
Yes, I played them all. I cover all of them in the Resident Evil Survivor article on the site. I gave like brief little synopses of all of them.
Well, let me just go ahead and ask, how do you think those are, quality-wise?
You mean in terms of the Dino Crisis one and the and Dead Aim?
Dead Aim, yeah.
Dead Aim is okay. It has one of the best villains in a Resident Evil game. It's the most... They're trans, I read them as. Which, you know, trans villain, it is what it is, but they're obsessed with beauty and, you know, like that whole thing. But, like, they're an interesting character for the way that the franchise handles them. So I kind of like them in, like, you know, in the same way that you would like a Disney villain, right? You know what I mean? You know what I'm getting at here? Do I sound like completely, like, off my rocker, or do you get what I mean here?
No, I kind of get what you're saying.
Yeah. So, beyond that, it's fine gameplay-wise. The screen flashing in that game is fucking unforgivable. Like, that would be impossible to play on here because I have a screen flash like filter, but it is not enough for when you're firing fully automatic weapons in that game.
Oh,
and it is like literally every other frame for like a full 10-20 seconds. So that would like absolutely like fuck people over.
Alright, that's going off of my Halloween list.
Remaining time before Nemesis gets loose. Time sort of goes while you're opening the doors here, too, so the second we get to the other side of this door, it's probably going to play the cutscene of Nemesis getting loose.
Getting loose, he's letting it all hang out.
That's him. Evacuate ASAP. Alright, so now he's just going to get in the way. We're going to have to, like, run around him. I'm going to have to find somebody to dodge him. Or I'm going to sacrifice Steve so that I can survive.
What you're always meant for, Steve.
This is your fate. I don't know if there's a way to do this without, like, the time expiring.
Video Game says, I thought the Pokemon controversy made Japanese entertainment companies extremely wary around flashing.
Alright, Steve, you go get him. Bye, Steve.
Is he just gonna appear behind you, or is he just gone?
So Nemesis is going to try to creep up behind me. He'll come through this door. He's basically on a track, too.
I was talking about Steve.
Oh, no, he's gone until I die. Nemesis come through. Oh, no, hold on. Maybe because he sated his bloodlust.
Yeah, it says reign time until Nemesis gets loose. He's already loose. Is there another Nemesis?
Yeah, maybe. Oh, yeah, maybe because he killed Steve. I don't remember all the specifics of the systems in this, but hey, you know what? We're still alive. That's all that matters. That gives me time to explore this room too. Now that I, have another minute and a half to burn. Let's see what we would have missed out on. It says 25 minutes. Yeah,
No,
so
it
they give
says
you
55
clues.
seconds.
No, the text in the center of the screen. Like, see here, these typewriters have clues.
I saw.
Okay. I think those are like the clues. Like, one of them's like, this typewriter says like blue jewel. You know, it's like all the things you need to collect, all the conditions you need to do to unlock like the real ending of this game or whatever the fuck.
Wait, so is the real ending? It was all the dream. Like, what's the fake ending?
Or no, it's not even. It's like a bonus stage or bonus boss encounter. I don't remember the specifics. Or maybe it's like just the criteria to get an S rank. It could be as simple as that. Again, whatever it is, I did it once, and I'm never gonna have to do it ever again. So, you know.
Sid says, "Wait, those windows are in a second-story room. How'd the dogs do that?"
Oh shit. Take this elevator.
Maybe invincible, but is he invincible to a magnum?
Yes.
Oh, never mind.
Well, it doesn't matter though, because we're going to the boss. And we don't gotta worry about fighting Nemesis at the same time as the boss, mercifully.
Level 3. How many times do we need to tell you to leave here because it is dangerous?
What's that? Doesn't look like it will help us out. Let's go. Natural
Wait, I'm dead.
dial. Oh, it switched me to the Magnum automatically. Well, might as well just use it then. Yeah, it's switching my weapons automatically for some reason. I'm not having any input over this. What is happening
enemies,
there?
What are those enemies called? Bandersnatch?
That sounds right. Anyway, it's a good thing we had the Magnum ammo, because I would have absolutely died during that fight without it. So much for the no damage run, so much for the handgun only run. But I just want to win the game right now. Rather than worry about rank. B. Private residence. Impatience. At least there's not two keys on this level. This is a more straightforward level versus the other one.
What's if the... Oh, never mind. Time to get loose.
You think we'd realize he's invincible already? This bullet doesn't seem to be effective. That's a good way of putting it.
This bullet doesn't seem to be effective. I have many other bullets. Let me try those.
So this entire level is a chase level. Just gotta always be moving.
It says, imagine if you somehow accurately dreamt up an umbrella bioweapon before meeting it.
You should get hired at Umbrella for that. Fuck this, I can just... Fuck fighting the dog, I'm just gonna run forward.
If you die, where do you continue from? Like the start of the level you're on?
Nope, you start in place.
Oh, seems there is no penalty for dying. Score, I guess, but...
But you do have 3 continues, and that's
Oh, okay.
it. In this home console version, obviously. Anything for me over here? No.
How hard would you say this game is? You're playing on like a new game plus stuff.
Well, there's no new
basically,
gameplay. There's no like bonus weapons. I guess I have slightly better Steve, but ultimately, I would say it's fairly difficult. Oh, there's Steve. He
Steve,
respawned.
you're back.
with me.
Oh, never mind.
They give me an extra few seconds to of no nemesis when I respawn. But ultimately, yeah, this is a very tough game. It's entirely possible. Like, if I was in practice, I could beat this without dying. And maybe pistol only as well. Alright, Steve, don't turn around. Don't get killed by Nemesis. Just follow me.
Is Nemesis just a one-hit kill on you? Or...
I think he hurts a lot. I think he can one-hit kill... I think he has the potential to one-hit kill. They might be slightly merciful. I think we lost Steve again.
Well, let's see if you're an invincible enemy to assault rifle. Surely something will work.
Alright. It is very handy to have these extra weapons. And obviously Steve gets different weapons. Like, when you see, like, the two weapons stacked against each other, like, it's grenade launcher or magnum, Steve would get the grenade launcher.
Steve sounds like he has the advantage there, all things considered.
I mean, we saw how effective the grenade launcher was in Resident Evil Survivor, so...
Yeah. Now, when is Raw Thrills going to get the chance to make an arcade?
Don't tell me
Resident
that.
Evil game?
Don't say that out loud. Don't conjure it into existence. I would be so sad. Good thing we figured out the secret door.
Mix their two specialties together, it'll be like a racing game shooter version of Resident
Evil
like,
Racing.
Like Lucky and Wild style.
Oh, shit.
Oh, hey, hello, buddy. Okay.
One hit kill. Alright. That's rough. I was not expecting to lose another life on this stage.
What is that noise?
Good question. I think the Nemesis may have been fighting the zombies to get them out of the way. He will clear path as necessary to make his way over to you. Oh, Steve is back because we died again. Oh, so Steve was shooting on the other screen. That's... okay.
Okay.
Steve won't be back for long, probably. Oh yeah, remember the actual antagonists of the game? They should probably show up at some point, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot about this aspect of Code Veronica. Wait, didn't you already do this, boss?
Yeah. Recycling.
The long 2 minutes. Oh, never mind. Okay.
Do I need
But
to
that's
go
not
up
a boss.
Stairs? Yeah, no, it was just a diversion. Can I go this way? Dead end. I mean, it's not.
Yeah,
But, you know.
yeah, it's very clearly not.
Health. An enemy is right behind it, right? Yeah.
You ever played the Outbreak games
Yeah.
in their
They're
intended
neat.
way, multiplayer?
Yes. Very briefly.
And
Like,
there's a bunch
maybe
of
once or twice.
There's a bunch of periphery Resident Evil games I'd like love to play, even if they're like also considered the bad ones.
Sure. There's
Like, I'd love
merit to the bad ones, even. There's merit to Outbreak's design. It was trying some novel things that the asymmetrical multiplayer games of today definitely, like, if they didn't take direct cues from, it was definitely ahead of them in, like, figuring these things out.
Well, Outbreak wasn't one of the bad ones. I wasn't implying that.
No, sure.
I mean, like, Umbrella Corps.
Oh, Umbrella Corps just sucks.
I'd still love to try it.
No, for sure.
It was Umbrella Corps and, like, Operation Raccoon City, right?
Yeah,
Those were
Operation
the two
Raccoon
that
City
were
is the
kind of-
one that is, like, you know, squad-based, whereas, the other one, I already forgot the name of it, was supposed to be
Umbrella
was supposed to be competitive, was supposed to be,
Yeah.
like, a competitive shooter. They had an esports division planned for it, which was
Like
putting the cart before the horse.
Like
say the
Resident
least.
Evil Counter-Strike.
Yeah, pretty much. But more like Titanfall, because there were zombies, like, you know, throughout the map was the thing. Like, there'd be, like, the NPCs you have to deal with, and then there's also the opposing team you have to deal with. That was the idea of it. Which is, you know, a concept. Not one that Resident Evil needed to be, like, dragged into. But, you know, it's an idea. It says Nemesis. So Nemesis is the key to all of this. Who'd have thunk it? Who would have guessed?
Is Nemesis like the secret boss or something?
I don't remember. Oh, go right in. Go right past him.
That was like a 2013 Unity horror game jump scare. Nemesis just starts flashing in like standing in a corner going roar.
Yes, I'm still here. Hee hee. Okay, now shooter.
Oh wait, so this is the real
Yeah.
Alexis then. Okay, we just not gonna deal with the other guy.
Nope, he's not around in this version of the narrative. Just like we don't have to deal with Steve's father.
Wait, I thought that boss we fought earlier was Steve's father.
No, Steve's father is a regular-ass zombie.
Oh, okay. Because I never played this one. Alright, game solved.
Don't think about it, Claire.
The end.
Crappy Fiasco. Hey, notice how you fight this boss and dogs at the same time? That's very rare in Resident Evil games, actually. I mean, I was correct. I gave a fact. It was a fun fact. It's a correct fact. Alright, this is the final stage.
Oh, duel. Okay, you get to fight Steve.
Finally.
It's like the end of Silent Scope 2. Or 3,
Short
or whatever
stage.
one.
The self-destruct system has been activated.
You would know the answer to this. What Silent Scope game is the one that ends with you having to fight your co-op?
Silent Scope 2.
Okay.
Where's
Is that also the one that ends... You see, that was my question.
Self-destruct
Yeah.
system has been
I know 2 is the one that ends with the guy playing the piano.
evacuate immediately.
Then it's 3. Because in the end, you don't actually kill each other in the ending, is a thing.
Right, yeah. But you do have to duel.
Yes. Which is awesome. It's only the fire and I started shooting, but it wasn't actually anything to shoot. I want to ride! It says kill.
Yeah, that's...
The carousel says kill. That's a fucked up kid's ride.
Yeah. You choose what horse you want to get on, and all the kids want to get on the horse that says kill.
That's the problem with this generation. Give me the Magnum. I wonder if I'm under 25 minutes.
Oh, this is the boss, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who's the...
Well, fuck this.
Oh, I thought he was gonna fall back and die. So, final boss, not Alexia, just Tyrant. Well, he's going down too fast for this to actually be the final boss.
Thanks for being my, like, meat shield, Steve.
It was a shitty final boss.
Kersplat.
God, where were they feeding that guy?
Oh, let's get out of here quick. Yeah, you are right. They put the E before the R and you are.
You are. Well, now it'll
now it's not
work.
going to open
Thank
at
you.
all. Thanks, Steve.
If you take too long to beat the game, you just get the bad ending where he shoots it and it just never works again. It's like, fuck. That's it?
Evidently.
That was the... I was sure that was
That
not
wasn't
the
the real final
boss.
boss. Yeah, no. That's it.
They're not going to fake us out. We're not going to, like, just...
Well, I forgot this is a Namco game. Namco arcade game. Remember, like I said, the Naomi, Namco, and... Yep.
Yeah. GunCon. Yeah, sure.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh, right.
If only I could have done You Air Winner for that.
Yeah.
But... let me look this up real quick. Resident Evil Gun Survivor 2 endings.
I can't believe that was the final boss. I mean, I can because it happened, but you kill the like actual big bad, and in the next level, it's like, here's a tyrant. Oh, it has like way less health. Okay, whoops.
Collecting the jewels in each level unlocks the secret reports. Huh. What am I thinking of here?
Is that the dream thing then?
Yeah, that must be it. It must be like, that must be like criteria for getting the jewel to appear. Okay, what it is you gotta get the jewels in the previous stage to do it under 25 minutes, and all that shit, and then that lets you collect the jewel in the final stage, which lets you go to the fucking menu after the game is over.
What a disappointing ending.
S. Just for that stage,
There
you
you
know?
go. 8th place.
What was my best time? Well, it's not going to show me, so who cares?
Yeah.
Wait,
here
no.
we go.
Oh, fuck!
Well.
Damn it! I thought I...
Oh well. There must be, I think, on the main menu, right? It says...
Probably. I just want to see the ending, though, then maybe end the stream for tonight, because we've gone over 3 hours, so... Let's just see the ending that I skipped earlier. I think all these secret reports are, like, different, like, text displays, like, different documents. This is Monologue of Claire. I seem to have fallen asleep. In spite of myself. Can I not fast forward this? Is there a fast forward button in PCSX2?
Oh, yeah. Mine is at the tab, but...
Mine is, and I must have rebounded that at some point. Oy vey. I'll give it a minute to, then I'll read it. I took a drink, too. I seem to have fallen asleep in spite of myself. The sound of the turbo engine of the VTOL has woken me up. I was dreaming. No, I was having a terrible nightmare. I'm drenched in sweat, and my heart is thumping in my throat. You should get that checked out. The dream is fading away rapidly, just like a dream always does. Then only memories of fear and deep sorrow remain. To my surprise...
That's not what I said.
What?
Just like a dream always does.
Oh, sorry. Always does. Then only the memory of fear and deep sorrow remain. To my surprise, I seem to have been crying. In the cockpit, Steve is controlling the pain. The nightmare has gone far behind. What do I have to fear? Why should I be sad? We're safe, for we got away from the cause of so much. Wait, so this isn't even, like, her realizing that Steve is actually dead, like, with Chris and whatnot. This is only the midway point. There's still the entire, like, Arctic base that is, like, not covered in this game.
That was going to be the sequel.
We're safe, for we got away from the cause of so much fear and sorrow. The island. I can see the warm sunlight coming into the cockpit, as if it erases the darkness. There are dolphins jumping.
Dolphins lumping.
On the surface of the sea below. However, the fragments of the nightmare never leave my mind. Oh my god, how long does this monologue go on for?
So I say that their Antarctica was going to be the sequel, but I don't. Were they ever planning a sequel for this one, where they're going to be like, "Hey, we'll finish it"?
No, not for this. This was meant to interest people in playing the game that was contemporary at the time, that being Code Veronica proper. This was meant to be like, here's like an in for action fans, and maybe if they're so compelled by the storytelling here, maybe they'll play it on console, even if it's not their genre. Even if they're arcade first-person gamers. And then the port to PS2 was just like an afterthought. Again, the hiccups after all the drinking. The scenes I dreamed of are surfacing one by one. I was dreaming of the island. I was fighting just like I did a while ago, just like I did together with Steve. But the dream was about to unfold in a different way, in the worst way. My farewell to Steve. That is a reality that could have happened if anything had gone wrong. But it didn't. We won this future. We have escaped. So this is something where she rescues Steve? He has escaped from the island of death. Or maybe afterwards? Like, is she just thinking about this before, like, the plane gets rerouted to Antarctica? It's time I talked with Steve. It's time I forgot the nightmare. The sky is bright with sunlight. Oh, Sid pointing out they escaped from the island in a Harrier instead of the transport plane. The transport plane gets redirected as an autopilot that crashes into Antarctica in Code Veronica, which is why they have to go through the second half of the game. It's becoming brighter and brighter. I wonder why he doesn't turn around. Now it's too bright, as if I'm in a white blanket of fog.
Oh, that's a nuke that went off. We're flying over Raccoon City. Uh-oh.
Of all the timing. Was it just a dream? I don't know. So it's a dream within a dream.
It's a double dream.
I'm in a white blanket.
Just thought you should know.
I wonder why he doesn't turn around. Come on, Steve, turn around. Is what I believe to be reality real? Don't go all existential on us at this point. The steady sound of the engine, the VTOL, has become louder and louder, like the noise from
a VTOL.
A swinging axe.
What?
And I realize that I'm waking up.
So this is a double dream.
Yeah. God, this is such a bad ending. It'd have been better off without this. It'd have been better off if it just ended the way that the arcade game does, where you fly away from the island. You don't have any of this shit to confuse it.
I was about to say, was this in the arcade game as well? If you beat it the best way, like, the machine can't be used by anyone for the next 10 minutes?
God, I hope so. Well, let's check out the other reports. Let's not.
And that's the canonical story of Code Veronica.
That's the way it really happened. So anyway, this game is okay. It had some replay value in the forms of these. I don't know. It's not as compelling. I don't like it as much as Gun Survivor Classico. But at least they tried to flesh it out with more content, so that's admirable. But on that note, with 2 games cleared on this stream, it is time to bid adieu to our audience, and thank you for tuning in, folks, for sticking with us, sticking through 2 games tonight, 2 Resident Evils. Thank you, Charkie, for coming along and enduring.
Thank you for having me again.
You will.
I keep saying that, but eventually it's just going to be like, I'm just here.
Like every week, so at a certain point, like, thanks for thinking about me again and, inviting me onto the stream. We're going to hit up more horror-type games in October. I have some ideas. I don't want to spoil too many of them, but just they'll be of the scary-ish variety. Some of them successful in that pursuit, some of them not, some of them definitely not. Some of them could not be further from failing in that pursuit, but we should hopefully have a good time regardless. Let's see who to raid right now. I see Dot Level. What are you playing? Looks like they're playing Castlevania 3. That's a good spooky game, right? For the Halloween season. Yeah. Castlevania, that's horror adjacent.
And I've heard Dot Level as well.
So I will send people their way shortly. But again, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back sooner than later. And I was going to give like a long monologue at the end about how it's just all a dream, but bye!
Night, everybody.